Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. What would you think are the two most common words that Christians use when they're in a panic or in a crisis? Do something. Do something, Lord. It's absolutely against human nature to stand still and do nothing when there's a crisis and there's trouble and difficulty on all hands. And probably the most difficult thing for even Christians is to stand still and wait for God to act. To stand still to see the salvation of the Lord. Even the most devoted of Christians panic when God doesn't move according to their time schedule. We're always giving God dates. We're always giving him a time limit. Lord, if you don't do it by now or by tomorrow or by next week, it's too late. God is never too late, and he's going to do it not on your schedule, not on mine. He's going to do it on his own schedule. But God is always and has always been searching the earth for those who will trust him in their crisis, in every trial, and especially when it seems hopeless. And he will lead us, listen closely, he will lead us into situations that are alarming, that are critical, that seem hopeless, to test us. Devil has nothing to do with it at all. It's God leading into the crisis. The Bible states fairly clearly, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, Psalms 37:23. And that in Hebrew is prearranged, step by step, fixed, ordained by God. I'm going to tell you something. I believe that every step that I take is prearranged by my Father. Every step that I take is ordered by the Lord. Now, if I believe that, if I'm in a crisis, if I'm in a very, very difficult situation, he's led me there. Because he doesn't stop for a moment while he says, well, you're about to go into a trial. I direct you up to this point. You're on your own now. He directs me into it, through it, and out of it. The steps of a good man, and we are good only by the blood of Jesus anyhow. There's no goodness in us. A good man made righteous through the blood of Jesus Christ is her steps ordered by the Lord. God's word is filled with examples of this. And by the way, it's hard to accept. Think about it for a minute. It's very, very hard to accept this concept that the most difficult, critical times in your life have been prearranged by the Lord. That they are his doing. And folks, when you begin to see that and accept it and understand it, then you're halfway through your problem.
Welcome.
That was excessively
Why did he
joyful.
shout it this time?
I don't know. When he practiced it, he was well put together. He performed good, and he just went crazy.
And when we went live, it's like, wow!
That's why you can't work with kids. You just can't do it. But he had the heart to do it, so I was proud. So Achilles and I, go ahead.
Your internet cut off, but I can hear you now.
So I was just going to say we have a special episode tonight. I bet you guys didn't expect it because, one, it wasn't scheduled, and I wanted to keep it that way. And two, we have a special format we're going to try out this evening. So we always have trouble deciding whether or not we want to have open panels or closed discussions, right, Achilles? It's kind of a battle we go through.
Yeah.
So Achilles had the brilliant idea that he inherited from another YouTuber that
we gotta credit him. We have a debate coming soon, which is this Saturday on the Kentucky Atheist Show, and somehow I think collectively we came up with this idea that we're going to bring the Wheel of Fortune for the debate topics, because that would make it more interesting. We were like, why don't we do it here too?
Yeah. So Achilles put together for us an awesome wheel, and this
Oh, yeah.
wheel is going to decide whether or not we do a Job Bible study, the proverb of the day, talk about Catholicism in what?
I don't remember. Ortho heresy, what was it?
Uh,
I don't remember, but
Ortho delusion. I don't know. It was hilarious though. Now I hope it lands on that so I can be reminded. Yeah, but we are going to do that.
let's give it a couple of minutes so people get notified, and there are more around to see that beautiful wheel that it took me hours to build. Like I used the router, a 3D printer, and then it's ready.
And by the way, Achilles, this is why, if anyone's wondering, we usually always post the link out in the comment section, but this is why we have not shared the link yet, because we don't know yet or decide whether or not the panel is going to be open, right? That's kind of the fun, exciting part.
And our topics are gospel read, which is going through what Satan says the most,
We do be hating on Satan.
which is he hates people reading the gospel like the gospel itself. He enjoys arguments, but not about what actually happened, and he lost the game. So that is one option. The other one is to go through some Ron Wyatt video that Stephen has been making, which I need to congratulate you for, because not a lot of people are aware of all those discoveries, and it brings subscribers in, which can then hear something else. But the Ron Wyatt is the gateway video to our
Can I
channel.
rabbit trail for just a moment?
Of course.
So, and Krista doesn't even know this part yet because I forgot about this part of the conversation I had. Kent Hovind called me earlier, and he told me that he had just sat down for the first time and watched the Unmasking Kent Hovind documentary from start to finish. He said, I watched it all the way through each episode. And he said, you did an incredible
I think that was incredible, the word, but we didn't hear it. He said you made an incredible job.
Yeah, did an incredible job. And yeah, and I was reminded of that because of what you were mentioning before the show started about having a director's type of mind. So that's really cool. And yeah, so thank you for the credit for Ron Wyatt too. He's fun to do videos about.
And because we're mentioning this live, let me say it here too. I do think that everybody that has watched any of your videos is gonna testify to that you do have an editor, a director's mind. You don't just throw stuff. You build the drama. You build the mood. Your voice is very captivating. You find the right music, and since you know the type of work that I do, it is very easy for me to distinguish between somebody that has that gift and somebody that doesn't, and you sure do. So I noticed this in all the videos you had been making, and then the Kent Hovind documentary, where people might disagree with stuff in it, but it's very hard to disagree that it is very well put together, and it builds up, and it keeps you captivated. That's a gift. It's a skill, and maybe you need to use this. Make something about this in the future.
Well,
Or
thank you. Coming from a seasoned editor like yourself, that's a compliment. So we make a pretty good pair because you helped a lot with that documentary. As a matter of fact, you helped so much I was going to put you on the credits and you begged me not to.
what I did for that documentary, I'll tell you now, and you're going to see how right that is. Um, we started the first part together, and somehow um, it's like I kickstarted your uh, your engine, and you went off and you disappeared from the world for like, I don't know, what was it, a couple of weeks? Wasn't that much, and you spit out all the other parts.
I
So
think Krista will tell you it was a good solid 2 months. You think it was about 2 months to make that documentary? Yeah, I'd say at least a month and a half. Because we gave a time schedule. When we discussed it and came up with the idea, we're gonna do the Kent Hovind documentary. We made an announcement that all the atheists were mocking us for. Remember, we said
yeah,
coming out in 3 months, and then we did it in a month and a half.
yeah. So that's what I can take credit for kickstarting that editor and director within you by us brainstorming the ideas. Because after than that, I even myself lost you. You got lost, and I understand that because when I edit, I get lost too. And I've said this in a previous video, which for people to know that I'm not lying, I can tell you the name of that video. It's called Planting Season in 2017. It got recently banned from YouTube, but you can still find it in Odyssey. I gotta remember to bring that up. I'm actually working, rabbit trails. I'm actually working on bringing back some videos right now from my past because one of them got taken down from the 2016 playlist, which is something that I can't have. Then another one that was missing from the 2018, maybe I should go back to that. But what I was trying to say here is that I said in a video that when we create something, we need to use the same method that God uses for people to create other people. We make love. And if you don't fall in love with what you're making, it's not going to end up nice. So uh, I know that when I'm editing, I fall in love with what it is I'm doing. When it's uploaded, I move on to the next. I'm, I'm you know, committing adultery. But but
Well,
I think that's what happened with you too. You fell in love with it so much, and you cut off ties with the world. And I think that's important. Whatever people that use their hands to make stuff, like even a table, um, a bed with working with wood or with metal, whatever it is you're doing, you have to fall in love with what you're doing at that
mm,
moment.
I have been really inspired lately to focus on the Ron Wyatt saga. And for one reason, and I really feel this in my heart, and we'll look back at this episode, I believe, and say, huh, yep, you were right. But I really feel in my heart that within the next 5 to 7 years, Ron Wyatt's discoveries are going to be vindicated and solidified, and he's going to finally get his credit. And I think after that happens, it'll be shortly after that that they will reveal the Ark of the Covenant, probably along with the videotape that proves Ron was in the cave. And I think when that happens, our channel is going to blow up and we're going to be able to reach people like never before because everyone's going to be interested in who Ron Wyatt is and they're going to try to go watch everything on Ron Wyatt they possibly can.
Um, Amen. I hope that is the case because people need to know more. This world has tried hard hiding the evidence, that the creation story and the Genesis story is true. And the most disappointing part about that is the Christians that have contributed in that. That is the most disappointing.
All right.
Oh no, what's going on?
So, Achilles,
Uh-huh.
it was your idea to do the wheel. Would you like to do the honors of picking our topic for tonight?
Yeah, give me a minute because my other PC seems frozen and I can't respond to the chat. Okay, no, I did. Okay. Oh, it took a minute. All right. Oof. Wait a minute. My computer is acting up on me, and it's not this computer, another one that I'm using, but I can't tell you about it. It's a secret. We don't talk about the other computer. So I gotta go back again. Click on it. I just want to type in hi GG and you're not mod. So where's mod? That's what I was trying to type, but it's slow.
I actually suspect that is mod.
Oh, okay, it worked now. Okay, wait.
Okay, and Achilles muted himself.
Yeah, because it's lagging and I can hear my voice, and you know how I love it. Stop, video. I'm trying to stop it from playing. So one more second.
Everyone else thinks you have a great voice. I don't know why you're upset.
So I'll ignore that, and I'm gonna say that the other subjects are proverb of the day. It's been quite some time we haven't read the proverb of the day, so who knows what the 12th proverb has for us today.
Exciting.
The other one is the continuing the job study, which just to be saying something about everything that we have on the wheel. I've been realizing, Stephen, when I was in the university, my project manager professor told me that there are two types of project managers, and they have to learn to work with together. One is they get very energetic when they start something, and then they lose interest as it's coming closer to the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The other one picks up pace when the project is reaching its end and when the deadlines are due. So when the first one starts failing, the other one needs to pick up so the project gets completed in time. And we need to apologize for what we've done with job, because that's what we've done. When we made it to the end of it, we've stopped. So
now we do plan on finishing it because we're actually left off at one of the most exciting parts of the entire book.
So the wheel will decide.
I think I'm ready, Achilles.
Now I'm gonna read backwards because I can't turn the wheel. So the other one is open panel, which is let the spirit lead. Who knows what happens if we open up the panel, right?
Those are dangerous.
Now the other one is gonna be very hard to read. I need to turn my head upside down. Wait. Oh, okay.
I know Catholicism.
It's Catholicism and orthodoxy. Yeah.
Orthodoculous. All right. God is good.
And end times and Antichrist talk.
Oh, that's a good one you added, Achilles.
And rest assured, everybody, nothing here is planned. Like, even let's say if we land on a job study, it's easy. We just open up job, we start reading, spirit takes over. But if we end up at the end times and the Antichrist, we'll just start ranting about the ridiculousness of the world today, how closer we're coming to it, how people still don't see it, and how angry I am with the hypocrisy
world.
of Christians today because they
Mm,
don't seem to care to find him. It's like, we'll see when he gets there. Right, like you'll have time then to warn people about him.
that's when it's too late. You'll just be worried about running for your life.
Right? Maybe we won't even have internet if we don't have the mark. But it's more important to, discuss everything about church history and use the internet to repeat all the reasons that church history is all about fights, and just go back and repeat the whole thing now that we have internet. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's happening.
History will repeat itself, Achilles.
Yeah, that's what I see. That's what I notice. But this time, people are also like, back then, people seem to at least, they didn't have an excuse. They had an excuse for being ignorant. Today, you don't have an excuse to be ignorant, let's say, of the crimes that the Catholic Church has committed, the blood of Christians on its hands. Maybe back in the day, they didn't know about it. Some didn't know about it. The people were following them, like the people were following Adolf.
Mm-hmm.
They thought he was a great leader. They didn't know about the camps, right? They didn't know about them because there was no internet. It wasn't on, media was not writing about it. Now we have all that and people remain ignorant.
Mm.
So, I mean, back then there was an excuse for being ignorant. You didn't have a newspaper. Printing press started what, in the 50s? 30s? Now we
Robin
have,
is in the house.
yeah, hello, Robin. She says, what's happening? So what's happening is we're going to spin the wheel and see what happens. That's it.
We don't know if it's an open panel or a closed discussion or what topic we're going to do until we spin this wheel. But don't do it until you tell me, Achilles, because I have a drum snare for you.
You have a what?
A drum snare?
Uh-huh.
It's the drum roll.
So before we spin the wheel, let's ask whoever is in the chat, our ladies in the chat, to give us a time frame. How many seconds do you want the wheel to spin? From 0 to 60. 0 is worthless. 60, trust me, it's too much.
And if we have 6 viewers right now, if you are viewing this as we speak, go ahead and tell us in the comment section what topic you hope the wheel spins on.
That's also good. We're trying to keep it interactive around here,
Well, last year we got accused a lot of neglecting the chat. We got accused of neglecting everybody in the chat. And it was a fair criticism. We kind of got on our own panels and chat did get neglected. And most of your views come from the chat. So we needed to find ways to start interacting with you guys more. And we thought this would be a fun one.
I'm actually a great example of what women say about us men. I can't do two things at the same time. So when I'm arguing about something, I'm ignoring the chat completely. Because if I do,
Yes.
I can't. I mean, I can do two things when I'm working on something with my hands and my mind is listening to whatever, a documentary, news, I follow both and I'm doing a good job at whatever I'm doing. But if I have to use my mind on two separate things, I will suck at both.
I'm going to let you read this comment because I'm not allowed.
I know, Maud, and I sent him an email already. And I'm very proud of our friend, the way he stood up, and I think he saved his dog because it would die. pure simple. Like there would be nothing he could do if the other dog got to him.
Let it be known
And
here first that Achilles has brain damage and that he hit his head very hard, and that Aiden is a hero.
he saved his dog, man. It would be dead by now, for sure. So, and he protected his wife, a fiance.
It was pretty manly, I have to admit. Even for Canadians, that was manly.
Um, we do need to let Dan know, Mod, that the police is already in the trails of the suspect, and they're beginning to trace him back to Dan. We gotta warn him so he leaves the U.S. because you know any terrific Christian. Oh, what? Any is terrific Christian army. Oh, hmm.
All right. Thanks
I
for
don't get
being
it.
in the Army.
Okay. Yeah, the thing I think what I get from that comment, hello, brother Mark, is that we do need to start preparing for getting attacked by uh, our countries getting invaded from all sides, especially Muslims. But that's not what our Bible is calling us to do. Our Bible is calling us to continue spreading the gospel even until the time that they come for our heads. Even the crusades that took place, that was not in the Bible. That was the Catholic Church. So I see what you're saying, but we need to remain biblical, do what our Lord asks us to do, and when we have different ideas, to reflect with the Bible and do what the Bible says, not what we think is best. They are going to come for us. But until they do, we still have this medium here to reach others. Um, yeah, I hope Aiden does come by.
I think Robin wants us to spin 7 times. And yeah, you ladies, neither one of you guys, and Mark. So, Robin, Maud, Mark, which topic do you guys hope this wheel spins to? I want to know if you guys are going to guess right.
And it makes me wonder now if they say another number, we're gonna have to make another wheel for the numbers. How many seconds will the wheel spin? 7, 4, 12, 19. You know. But we found a wheel with a cross. That was nice. Amen, brother. Amen. Amen. And we should take his sword, which is his word, put it in our hands and our mouths, and keep using it to slaughter the lies of the darkness that are captivating our brothers and sisters' minds. Oh, speaking of that, the evolution topic is not on the wheel.
Oh, you definitely need to add that, Achilles. Why evolution is broken?
I think I lost you. Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, evolution is a lie.
Even though we are going to go on a debate about this, which I have to admit, I wanna confess.
Ooh, this is going to be good.
Yes, you're gonna do it for me. What is the one word that I gave you in capital letters about the debate on our email when you asked me what subject? Tell the people, what was that one word?
On which email?
The one word that I pressed all the letters like 10 times and it became a huge word and it was capitalized. That doesn't happen often.
Let me see.
I'll just tell them. Boring.
Yes, clears throat. Boring.
Because I don't know, man. I don't know. Debating that subject anymore. I mean, it's a bore. And I don't know. I think I have one question for the atheists. Like, I have a couple. I'll throw them there. I'll let it be a surprise. Because
All right.
last time I did something like that, which was on the TKA show, I didn't know about it. Now that I do, oh man, and I hate myself for going. But I'll be there. I'll try hard. I'll be there. So why does it say remove winner?
I don't know, but it looks like evolution and end times are on the same one.
You're right. Remove winner. Okay, there it is. Okay, so that's because we spin it before to see if it works. All right. Oh, Robin, are you gonna be the mod in the debate? Because you should be.
She's not. She put it right here.
Yeah, please contact TKA and tell him that this channel right here chooses you for a mod. Sorry for that sound. My encoding stuff rendering. Oof. Oh, silence. Silence on my desk. Finally, it's been edited. It's been exporting for 14 hours.
The anticipation in this room is so thick. You can smell it.
Can you actually tell the difference?
Yeah.
That the font stopped.
No,
working?
I can't. I couldn't hear that.
Okay. And I don't know which one they had TKA has in mind. I don't even know who he'll be joined by. It's gonna be a 3-on-3 debate, which I said already. I think is an overkill. I mean,
I don't think it's 3-on-3. I think it's 3 on him.
He couldn't even take me. He take 3 of us.
See, you tell me I'm not allowed to talk about anybody, and then you talk about everybody and have all the fun by yourself.
I'm just saying. I didn't say anything bad.
How come I have to be a better person alone?
I'm just saying it sounds awfully optimistic.
This is crap.
That you can take me, Stephen, and Joseph on your own. I'd pick up some backup.
I think he's hoping for that classic Kent Hovind moment, taking on 3 of the competitors and becoming the darling of your movement. And I like Joe. I really do.
But that ain't happening.
I would be more intimidated by debating the Gothic Fabio or in Raw. Some of those big names. Professor Dan would give me some trouble. So there are atheists out there that I would dread debating, and I like Joe, but he's not one of them. And to be fair, he probably does not dread debating me. He was already ready to debate Joseph, and has, I believe, right? Even on my channel, I think.
Yeah, I remember something. Yeah. So yeah, we got that going on Saturday. So I don't know. I hope I can put a Joseph on you guys, or
I think he is afraid of debating you again, Achilles. You Greeks are not afraid to fight in the shade.
So this is gonna be fun. We haven't discussed if we're gonna bring it over our channel as well. I think we should, for the we have the subscribers that we do, so it might be interesting for some. I don't know. There are those that are subscribed to TKA. They're not so much. That's why I find it boring, because not many people are actually interested in the facts or examining them. They just want to find other ways to get around what you just said, and they never change. And I've been doing this for the couple of years that we've been doing it, and it got exhausting. But there are people that can earn from the arguments, and they can, do their own apologetics and debates, like Richard, who is going to see the Catholics.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I do think that we should mirror that show here as well.
Okay. We probably can do that, no problem, I'm sure.
So we have one vote for a subject. I'm trying to show it on the screen. This is it.
The thing about the voting system at Proverbs Guys is that it's similar to the voting system in the US, as in much as it doesn't really matter. Because we're just going to spin the wheel, and whosever turn it is next.
But the only difference with the American voting, or the Greek voting for that matter, is that this wheel isn't rigged.
Great Scott. Hey, Christian Pike, let us know what topic you hope the wheel spins to. Robin hopes it's open panel. Maud didn't say. Krista wants to know what on earth is taking so long to choose a topic. And Mark is for the gospel read.
Yeah, Robin is for an open panel, but she's not going to join. Right, Robin, right.
Oh, for some reason, anytime you're not an atheist friend of hers, she's sitting with a magical lady. I'm starting to think the old lady doesn't exist.
She did join the other day when TKA was here. She did join us, but it was
You're right, but I was headed out, so I didn't get to enjoy it.
you didn't even close the door.
Well, that's the thing, Robin. We don't even know if you can join tonight yet because we haven't spun the wheel.
The wheel will decide. So I'm gonna make your request. I'll make it for 7 seconds. Looks like we have the same favorite number, which is 7. Actually, though, I'm gonna make it a multiple of 7. I'm gonna go for 14 because 7. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 choices. So it's gonna spin like once. No, it's in seconds though. It's not subject. All right. So let's go for. Let's hear if we have another one. Yeah, I'm going for a multiple of 7. Just 14. 20, 21 would be too much. More than 21, I don't think many can multiply 7 more than 2 times. So let's leave it there. Ooh. Oh, that's why you picked 7. Why? I don't get it. All right, 14 it is. Would you like to do the honor, sir?
I'm going to let you do the honor. I'm going to do the drum roll. And then when the drum roll ends, you can give her a spin.
All right. Hit it.
The anticipation is killing us.
Can I zoom on the wheel? Yes, I can.
Evolution is a lie. What? Oh,
What?
we didn't even prepare for that one at all. Should we make that a test spin, or should we hold to it and go wing evolution is a lie?
All right, panel, chat, if you want to spin this again, press 1 in the chat.
We'll level with you. We're brushed up on multiple topics. We have not tackled this one in quite a while, and it's going to be a crappy episode. I just want to warn you.
I disagree. I think we've addressed the subject so much that it is now embedded in our DNA, like the retroviruses, wink wink, which is one of the subjects that the atheists want to bring up in our debate. The ARVs. So the stuff we can talk about, like openly.
Okay. Do you still have? I think it was he was that chemist who does the video talking about how it's impossible to create life in a lab. and that he's the authority on the matter.
Yeah. I should.
See, Krista says Bible studies. Christian says 1. Robin says LOL. So
That's
what do we
not
do,
a
man?
subject.
Do we stick with evolution? Or do we roll again? How
Christian.
about that? Oh, I have it. Achilles. Let's roll one more time. It is Dr. Tor. Thank you, Charles Sexton. Yes. Look, let's roll one more time, and we will take that along with evolution as a lie, and we will let the audience vote on which one they won. Krista says, for the love of God, pick something. All right.
Yeah, let's go. We'll let you pick and see how easy it is. All right, we're gonna spin it again, and you get to choose.
Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel.
Clear winner. Drum roll. Sir, you're forgetting your job.
Oh.
You had one job.
Now who's forgetting their job?
I just wanted to do that. Alrighty. Back to layers. Just want to disappoint you all. There we go. Oh, the anticipation. Growing.
Krista says that it's a terrible show because it's been 45 minutes and we don't even have our topic. All right. Okay, so the options is evolution is a lie. Thank you. Evolution is a lie or Ron Wyatt video commentary. Either way, I think for both of these, we can open up the panel. Do you think so, Achilles?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so the link is out in the comments section. We have our two topics. You guys vote. Put in the comment section what we should do. Is evolution a lie? Or do we want to do commentary on the Ron Wyatt video? People can ask questions, make comments, so on and so forth. What do you say? Do we give them 10 seconds to decide?
Yeah, or they can come right in and tell us.
All right, guys. Make your decisions. Put in the comments section. Which topic do you prefer? Krista is just picking anything so we start a topic for the love of Jiminy Cricket. Krista means business.
Ooh.
Oh, the evolution of Ron Wyatt. Thank you,
No,
Christian, for titling my next video.
I don't think that's what he's saying. I think that's.
Oh, he's calling Ron Wyatt a liar. Pike, them be fighting words. We're going to go back to our Hatfield and McCoy feud.
Put your boxing gloves on and get here.
Ron was my friend. No, I'm honored. I have got to read from Ron Wyatt's Bible, and that meant the world to me. Origin's a holic. All right, so I guess evolution is a lie, one out. Now that we're on the topic of evolution, Achilles, I wish Dan was here because Dan is the man for symbiotic relationships.
Dan, you said?
Yeah, Dan. Dan is that guy for the symbiotic relationships.
Yeah, but Dan is hiding from the law right now. He's in a hideout because of the failed attempt on Aiden. So.
Oh, true. Yeah.
He's not gonna show up.
I wish Theories of Creation was here. I don't know if Bruce would add to this episode. I don't think Bruce is I know he is a creationist, but I don't think he is a hardcore creationist like we are.
And since Christian is in, not like totally in, unless now he's in. All right, there he is.
Hello.
Hello, brother.
What is up, Christian? You came to join us for symbiotic relationships?
Sure.
Good. Tell us everything you know.
Well, I think
We're going to take notes.
Some people have them and some people don't, from what I hear.
I have evolved. See? Points for Darwin. I have evolved into a symbiotic relationship with Krista. I could not survive mentally without her.
I feel that way about Coke Zero.
She drinks Coke Zero, but you're probably not a diabetic.
Not yet. That's why I'm switching to the Coke Zero.
That's a good example though for adaptation. Insulin, the fact that the body can absorb artificially designed insulin.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of examples like that with modern medicine and how the diet's changed and all that.
I was thinking when you gave the definition the other day to Tabitha of what it is you believe in, which was a clear-cut answer that is saying that you believe in some mechanisms, that they are there, that's for sure. I think I didn't get to respond that at that time because if you remember, I left. Then when I came back, we were talking about something else. And I even put a title here which says which word on my username, and which I can't remove right now if Max has bugged. But that was the time that that happened. So I just wanted to tell you then that is the difference. That is what evolutionists use. They look at all those mechanisms and they connect all that to the fairy tale. So it is the fairy tale that a species can change into another species if you give it a lot of time. And that is where we draw the line. So the somewhat official way of saying that is that is called microevolution, or not adaptation, variation within the same kind. And what you were discussing about the squirrel. For me, this is a very hard word. Right? It's a cute animal, but it's a very hard word. Squirrel. Right. In the Grand Canyon, it has variated to a degree that they can't mate, but it's still the same kind of animal, right?
Usually, in the context of religion, or at least in my experience, when people ask you, do you believe in evolution? Typically what they're asking is, do you believe in universal common ancestry? And of course, I don't believe in that. So like the short answer is no, but the subject is, pretty complicated.
Yeah, and I'm with that. It should be as easy as that. It's a very easy answer. No. But,
yeah, like I'm fascinated with Darwinian theory. Like I'm sort of like a little armchair wannabe biologist. And so I think that the way that biology works is very interesting, and I appreciate a lot of evolutionary scientists for the work that they do. But to me, the Bible is very clear in terms of special creation, at least for those broad kinds of life. And so I don't think, to me at least, I don't think somebody who really is saying that they're a Christian and a literal Christian according to the scriptures can believe in universal common ancestry. I think that would violate the scriptures.
And I think you're right. It violates the scriptures. It pretty much does. Because that's not what the Bible is telling us. And to try to merge those two together, you are kind of calling God a liar, because half of the Genesis, didn't happen. So you're calling him a liar. So not you. I mean, whoever thinks that those two theories, the origins being, another animal or an amoeba and all that, you can't align that with Christianity.
One thing that I've never really
I found it.
I've never really been on board the super scientific approach to this from creationists. Not that I don't think they do some good work, because I'm sure many of them do, but I don't think that our faith should be grounded in what we think of as convincing evidence scientifically. I don't believe in special creation because the scientific evidence leads me to that belief. I believe in it because I have faith in the Bible. And I do think it's important to make that distinction.
I agree, but also the science points to it.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, I don't
even
have any trouble with somebody doing work in that field. Obviously, I mean, I was a Kent Hovind fan long before I ever met him, you know. But I do think that when people begin to use that as the justification for their belief, I think that can be problematic, because we're
oh,
supposed to
definitely,
have belief without evidence.
definitely. When it is a justification for the belief, I agree. But I started my journey that led me to Christianity from a scientific perspective. And I started seeing that the evidence is there. I was just getting blinded not to examine them from that perspective, or from the perspective of a brilliant creator.
Yeah, I don't
Nobody,
have any problem with that, as long as it's not being taught to young people as that it should be their reason for believing. Like, hey, they made an argument, we made a better argument. That's not really what faith is about. You know what I mean?
I do. When it comes to personal faith, it shouldn't. But the thing is that a lot of people have lost their faith because this is being taught to them as science. And when those children ask about religion, and when I say children, I mean even college children, right? They say, well, religion, if you go all the way back, there were different religions, and Christianity has evolved from the other religions. So, in a sense, again, instead of God creating man, they're teaching people that man created God. So, that brings in the reason why this debate needs to be happening for the faith of others that has been shaken, has been completely destroyed. Like they begin with the premise that religion is made up. But when your mind changes and you start seeing a creator, that you then turn back and look at nature with a new perspective, and you see him everywhere.
Well, that's the thing about a Christian mindset is, you do reprogram your mind to see him everywhere. Like the Apostle Paul said, to bring every thought under captivity to the obedience of Jesus Christ and to cast down imaginations. And so when a person does that day after day, their mind is gradually transformed into the mind of Jesus Christ, which is the mind of perfect faith. And you begin to see the world through a lens of recognizing it as the creation of God. And so you do see the very same things differently because you're seeing them through a different filter, which is the mind of Christ.
And that is very important because the facts themselves, they don't speak. The interpretation of the facts speak. And according to the mindset that you have, you see a different perspective on the same evidence. So, for example, fossils only prove that something has died. From one side of the spectrum, you can say there was a big flood. Look what can happen with such a big flood. And from the other perspective, you can start tracing, if you want to make God disappear, you can start tracing all the fossils back to each other and say that that fossil definitely had a child, which child was our ancestor. But people are not getting taught both sides in schools. And that would be science. The science would be, listen up, kids. We have this. This is the fact. All right. You're going to have to make your own mind when it comes to this debate that has been going on since forever, since Darwin. Was that thing created or did that thing evolve? As a professor, I'm going to teach you both and you make up your mind. But that's not what we get in schools. Therefore, it becomes a war front. You have the other side beginning that war on the minds of children, and we can either choose to ignore it and attack the stereotypes that they have about Christianity without addressing the first thing that made them lose their faith, which is this. So I think it is important. I think it has. I'm actually very tired, very worn out.
I know the feeling, believe me.
Yeah, of discussing this subject. It's not like I'm advocating to keep doing it. I'm tired of doing it, but I'm glad that people do. I think
Then
it's
why did we put it on the wheel, Achilles?
Yeah, like I didn't pick this subject. You guys did.
the wheel did, but I did add it.
Won like 75 times.
What was the other one? The previous one was what was it? Ron Wyatt was the second choice. It was the first choice. It's the first choice that the wheel brought up. I'm gonna break that wheel.
And
Make some
Christian,
adjustments to the wheel.
you can answer this question from Robin, but then I'd like to answer it too.
What about creation stories of other religions? Okay, so I can't answer for Achilles' position. Obviously, that's his position. I do understand the idea of just presenting the facts as they are and not necessarily favoring one disputed interpretation. I understand that way of thinking. If it were up to me, I would probably just keep religion out of schools altogether. But I would also not, like what Achilles is saying, I wouldn't just pick one very controversial interpretation and say, well, we know that this is what it is. I would just present the facts and then say, well, most people believe that this is what it is, or something like that. I would try to keep theology, whether it's secular or whatever, out of it. It's difficult. It's a hard question to answer because you don't want to give your opinion. You just want to give the information, but we're human and we're inherently biased, and it's very difficult not to give your opinion. But as a short answer to her question, no, we should not teach all the world's creation myths. I hope that goes without saying.
That is a good answer.
You can go next.
Well, I would just say I agree with what Christian said. I don't think we should be teaching it in school. Teaching one's faith should be something personal. They can learn that at home and at church. I have no problem with that. Prayer in school should definitely be allowed. But I would also like to just stop teaching this dogmatic theory of evolution. And truthfully, it's not even all the public schools' fault. Even on kids' cartoons like Land Before Time, it's full of evolutionary teachings, and t-shirts at Walmart made for kids start off with millions of years ago. I mean, let's just agree that there were dinosaurs, because I would love to buy my kid a shirt without a lie on it.
All right. And I'm going to surprise everybody with my response. Before you bring this up, which
Just
was
kidding.
it was a quick Google search, and I found what I was looking for. I want to say that being in Greece, I'm giving you a perspective from outside the US. All right. I got taught all religions, especially polytheism, Greek polytheism, because it's part of literature, not part of religion. It's part of literature. You can't understand the epic poems of the Odyssey and Iliad, Troy, if you don't understand the pagan gods, right? So I got taught that. Then when I made it to the university, I got taught about the Epic of Gilgamesh, about Babylon. I got taught all that, but nobody ever presented it to me as being something I should respect and not question. When it comes to Christianity, because I'm in a Christian country, surprise, surprise, I was not taught Christianity. I was given a book for every year of my high school, which is 6, that tells me all about the different levels of the bishops, what we wear and what we hold, why we celebrate that saint, why we venerate the other saint, how important was Mary. So in a sense, the only thing that got presented as religion is the one thing that we were not allowed to question, which is the part of biology that is no longer biology. Which brings me to what Christian is saying. Biology needs to be get taught in schools, but the origins part can be left outside or be a completely separate class, which will come later and people can question after they see all the sides.
Yeah, it does seem like macroscopic evolutionary biology would be more of a class to opt into rather than a necessary class. Because I mean, how many careers is it necessary to know macroscopic evolutionary biology? You know what I mean?
Well, look, even the fact that you call it microscopic evolutionary biology, I think is biased, not from you, but from whoever comes up with that term, because biology is microscopic. The first class
Well,
I
I
ever.
said macroscopic.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
just meant as far as all the assumptions that go into long-term biology. I don't have a
right,
problem with there being a class that offers the information on the subject, but I don't think something like that should be mandatory.
right, which is what I just called origins. You call it, you give it
Yeah, like
a more scientific term. Okay, yes.
well, even macroscopic is an outdated term, but really, like I said earlier, when somebody in the religious realm asks you about evolution, usually they're not asking about variation within species. They're asking about universal common ancestry, and so it for a person to believe in universal common ancestry for all living organisms, that is full-blown neo-Darwinian theory, and that's a little bit more in the philosophical field than
Right,
just real everyday biology. You know what I mean?
right, right. Because I was taught in biology the mitochondria, everything that is within them. I was
Powerhouse
testing
of the
on
cell.
them, right? But not where they came from. That was not in my biology class. Then now it's in. Now actually, at some point I was telling you guys that it's not in the Greek books, but I read further and it's there. It's just not at the beginning. I was expecting the whole evolution thing to be at the beginning of the Greek biology books, but it's not there. It's at the end of the book. So I did find it in the recent biology books, and I think they have sneaked in religion inside science. And with that, let me bring this up. So this is, I just Googled here. Okay, wait, it doesn't show me what I Googled for. I said world religions, and I got this picture. I hit pictures, I got this. So this subject is perspectives of traditional religions on positive AI futures. Okay, we don't even care about the positive AI futures. But what matters is that if you scroll down here, the third from the end is the Big Bang. This is the symbol being used for the Big Bang. So it is a fact. It is, oh no, I shouldn't call it a fact, but I should call it a given that it is a religion. But they're trying to present it as science. We have here Judaism, you have Hinduism, you have Taoism, you have Islam, you have Christianity, you have Orthodoxy, and here it is, right? This is the Big Bang. It is a religion. But that's not something the children in school hear when they talk about, let's say, astronomy.
Why does this chart distinguish so sharply between Orthodox Christianity and other Christianity? I don't really understand that.
I actually have never seen that again.
That just seems a little bit divisive unnecessarily.
Yeah, I agree. Like
I don't
maybe
agree. I think it's totally appropriate, actually.
Noted.
I see your point. It is,
I'm just
brother.
surprised that they did it. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. It is, but it is a different subject of the wheel. All right, remember that subject was there on the wheel, so it didn't spin there. So let's not explain why it's a
It's just interesting. It's like, why not have a Catholic cross and a Baptist cross and a Methodist cross? You know what I mean? Like,
I think the other cross represents everybody else, but Orthodoxy just needed to add that thing at the bottom. Like that wasn't even there. You
I mean,
see
their
that?
cross is kind of cool looking. I'll give them that.
Yeah, but let me tell you this: there was a sign. There was. I'm sharing the screen again. There was a sign at the top of the cross,
Yeah, there
which,
was.
all right, which had the King of Jews, right?
Yeah.
But there was no such thing at the bottom.
Daniel told me one time why they added that, but I can't remember what he said.
Because that's the difference of religion of Christianity with Orthodoxy. They add stuff. That's where the difference is. It's in the logo itself. We just add stuff here and there.
Unfortunately, I think that's true about most denominations.
Um, I'm going to highlight this comment that Stephen did again. Unless Stephen knows where it is. Here, from Charles Sexton. He's right, because if you go back to the Greek mythology and you go back to the pre-gods of the 12 gods of Greece, you will see that it all started from chaos, and then order was created. And there are many correlations that today we call it science, but it is neo-paganism. And I'm glad to see somebody else pointing that out.
Well, like I said, I mean, if it was just like a non-essential class that a person could opt into, it wouldn't bother me at all. The thing that bothers me is them making anything philosophical essential. You know what I mean?
You know what I really enjoyed, Christian?
What's that?
I watched the last part of that 6-hour stream we did the other day when it was
Okay.
just you, Dan, and Bruce.
There's no way you really enjoyed that.
I actually really did. The way you and Dan rallied Bruce into corner after corner, you actually had him arguing the exact opposite of his position like 20 minutes prior to defend his position. He was making points for the case that the church is universal. Like, I was mind blown.
Did you watch any of the stream last night on Logan's channel?
No, I didn't. What I
I did
miss?
like a little just random stream last night because I wasn't doing anything, and it was just a hangout panel is all it was, and it turned into a Bruce is right panel, of course, and so there was a verse that he was trying to comment on. We let him pick the verse. It was John chapter 6, verse 63, where Jesus is talking about the spiritual symbolism of communion and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, all right, so Bruce, so I read the verse 63. All right, Bruce, what do you want to say about the verse? Well, I think you should start earlier and read the whole context. All right, Bruce, how far back do you want me to go? I went all the way back to like verse 51 or something and read down to 63. And I swear to God on the Bible, verse 64 was a deterministic verse. And Bruce would not allow us to include that in the discussion. It was one verse later. And I was like, Bruce, I just read like 15 verses leading up to this. Nope, 64 is not what I was pointing out. So we couldn't discuss 64. I was like, man, it's the same chapter.
And he's the one that brought context in.
I don't get it, man. Like, I understand having a different interpretation. I understand having a different view of a verse. Like, we all do that. But just simply reading a verse and not commenting on it should not upset you.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. And I don't know. I love Bruce, but I said it not to his face literally, but I said it to him on stream. I told him, I don't know that he's a great apologist right now. Like, he's got the zeal and the love to defend the faith, and he does great at it most of the time. But I think coming from a Catholic background, he does have that apostolic regression that we talked about the other night stuck in the back of his head. Like, he thinks that a pastor has to physically lay hands on you.
Oh, he definitely believes in that. I've tried to explain that to him 10 times. I'm like, Bruce, listen, I'm not even mad at you. You can believe what you want to believe, but you do believe in that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely 100% he does. And then he also believes in the same local church, like the church is not the body of Christ, made up of all of us, that it's an actual entity like the Catholic Church.
I didn't even
like,
know
he
that
can't
was something
shake that.
people argued about till I met Bruce.
Yeah, me either.
I've never even considered that as a subject matter.
What's interesting to me is the more the NIFB, and to a much lighter extent, some of the IFB, the more cultish they turn, the more they look like some weird form or adaptation of Catholicism.
Yeah, I don't know that much about the NIFB. There's that one crazy pastor online that I watch sometimes for laughs.
Steven Anderson.
There's him, and there's another guy that's kind of like him. But yeah, no, there's another guy that hates him that's like a different kind of Baptist, but he's also loud. He always talks about the witches. Like, there's 10 witches out there.
Oh, is he the guy who threatened to out the witches if they didn't?
Yeah, what's that
leave the
guy's
church?
name?
I don't remember, but I remember that
I
clip.
freaking
That clip
love
was
that
amazing.
guy. Like, I know it sounds terrible because I love him for all the wrong reasons, but I will watch the heck out of that guy and just watch him jump up and down on the sacred desk and call out the witches. I just love it. I don't know. I know it's wrong, you know. But I like with Bruce, I get so frustrated with Bruce. I'm like, Bruce, I'm not only happy to respectfully disagree, I'm happy to listen to your position and consider it. That's not even good enough for him most of the time. This the guy? Greg Locke.
We got first and last names of 6 witches that are in our church.
He's
And you know what's
witches.
strange?
This
3 of you
freaking guy.
are in this room right now.
He's about to send a witch out of there. You know?
3 of you in the room right now.
Witches get stitches at that church.
You better look in my eyeballs. We ain't afraid of you, you stinking witch. You devil-worshiping Satanist witch.
We ain't scared.
We cast you out in the name of Jesus Christ. We break your spells. We break your curse. We got your first name. We got your last name. We even got an address for one of
Your phone
you.
number?
You so much as cough wrong, and I'll expose you in front of everybody on this tent, you stinking witch.
Library card.
You were sent to this church to destroy us. You were sent to this church to lure us in. You were sent to this church to cast spell. Listen, some of you been sick because you befriended that witch.
Even tell me this guy
2
doesn't-
of you in my wife's ladies Bible study, and you know who you are, and we gonna ask you to get out, or I'll expose you in front of everybody. We got all 6 of their names.
There's 6 of them.
Oh,
This guy rules.
Weren't they
2 of them
three?
had already been confirmed before that thing ever even said it.
Wait, Stephen. First off, it's kind of chopping a little bit. First off, he said there were 3, and then he said we have all 6 of your names. So I don't think he was
Achilles.
the brightest
why-
in his class.
No, that's why he was trying to get the witches out. They multiply like head lice.
Witches do
Witches
tend to
do.
multiply. You know, here's the thing. Like, you've heard the phrase guilty pleasures. Like, some grown men will like watch Gilmore Girls and not want you to know about it or something like that. So my guilty pleasure is watching Greg Locke videos.
By the way,
The Office for me.
That's a regular pleasure.
It is a good guilty pleasure. I cannot tell a lie.
I have something about that guy too.
That guy, it sounds terrible, but I kind of love that guy. Like, it's not that I think he's right. I just really enjoy listening to him.
Yeah. What can I say? I don't want to ruin it, but even
You're
that, I
stinking
don't. He did something that I don't know. He lost half his congregation, but he doesn't seem to mind because he's willing to call the other half witches. So he made a debate. He organized a debate between 2 churches, and he invited the members of the other church to come to his church with the pastor, because the pastor was advocating for flat earth. And he is advocating that a flat earth is a lie meant to divide Christians. And he doesn't want Christians to be
Can we
divided.
watch that one?
What?
Can we watch that one too?
He
Even I
doesn't
think
want.
I have a topic for your panel.
he doesn't want Christians to be divided, so he organized that. So that was a big thing in the whole movement. People were waiting for it. So it was live. The other person came in with a presentation and with a lot of slides and facts and pictures and testimonies and astronaut uh, interviews, videos, and all that. And this guy had nothing. All he had is calling him names. So, although that was obvious enough that you haven't done your research, the thing is that he started calling him so many names. And then not only did he kick everybody out of his church and he was shouting, "Get out of here, get
You
out of
stinking flat Earth witch!
here." Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
expose you.
yeah. But he even called the cops on them. He even called the police to kick everybody out of his
Oh, the
church.
police!
Yeah, yeah. That was
Tammy knew you were talking about Greg Locke.
yeah.
Guys, can I tell you something?
Huh?
The crazy pastor who was trying to out the 3 to 6 witches, Krista used to go to church with him.
No,
No?
he went to the church that I used to attend before I went there.
Oh, they were
Okay.
church mates.
They kicked him out.
Yeah, so according to Bruce, he can baptize us.
Wait,
Right.
say it again. Say it again.
So Krista used to attend a church that Greg Locke also used to attend.
What?
Yeah.
Is she one of the 6? I don't know. Like,
No, you're not one of the 6, right?
No.
No.
Oh, I got threw out. Yeah.
You got thrown out of
expose
that
you?
church? Good for you, babe. I am so proud.
No, Greg Locke threw me out.
How
Greg
you
Locke
gonna try
threw
to
you out.
poison Greg
You
Locke's
were one
house
of the 3 to 6
Bible
witches.
study like
Why
that?
not?
Man, my wife got tossed out by Greg Locke.
And
Wow.
my issue for bringing that up is you can have your position, but if the main thing of your position is that Christians should not be divided and you invite the whole church to your church, don't call the cops on them. Like, are you nuts? Are you kidding? That's my issue. You can believe you are on a triangle for all I care, right? Just
Well,
You guys add Greg Locke to the wheel, please.
now, are you guys talking about when he kicked out his opponent for winning the flat Earth debate?
yeah, and he called the police on them and kicked everybody out. Like it was a whole church.
That was
Yeah.
the least classiest move I've ever
How
seen.
is this not something y'all were already discussing? I
Look,
don't understand.
there's
I'll
also
tell you what
video.
happened, by the way. He deleted after the negative feedback that he received. He deleted the whole live stream from the internet, but we've recorded it. We have the whole thing, so you can look it up.
Krista was one of the witches the whole time.
Yeah, people have
Yeah.
uploaded it, and I'm promising you, you're gonna learn something. You first are gonna learn how not to be a Christian, like not be like him. But when it comes to the other subject, it is a legitimate debate. The other side is not nuts. Still, you don't say that we need to be united, and then you kick them out of your church and you
Where's
start.
his church at?
I don't know, but Robin
I'm
said
thinking road trip. You know what I
Robin
mean?
said that it has been destroyed twice by tornadoes.
He'll rise again. It's going to take more than that.
It was the witches that brought the
Yeah,
tornado
probably.
level 4.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, 6 witches is pretty formidable.
Yeah, like if they start running around the church, you create a tornado.
The thing is if your church has any more than 4 witches in it, I feel like it's the pastor. You know what I mean?
That is a surplus of witches.
I mean, that's an excess of witches
Above
for
average,
sure.
for sure.
And the whole thing, the way he does ministry, he's part of, not just him, whoever does that. They are part of this evangelical movement that uses your emotions more than your spirit. Like it doesn't focus so much on the word, but on the emotions that they stir up by shouting. It's like, it's the spirit. Yeah, right, it's the spirit. I wouldn't want to be part of your family.
I would like to hear him preach on 1 Samuel chapter 15. If you know, you know.
No, please
It's
elaborate.
the Witch of Endor.
I back made myself some coffee, but this is going to 5 a.m.
The
So
ones I really hate, guys, are the pastors who bang on their podium and yell a lot. I'm always thinking, like, dang, show me on this doll where the podium hurt you.
speaking of that, did I mute myself? No, I didn't. All right. Speaking of that,
Speaking of that, Achilles.
Yeah, we were speaking about that. Yeah.
uh, man, my brain. I'm having a brain fart right now. Steven Anderson. He jumped on the podium.
I did see him upon the sacred desk at one time.
Have you seen that? Like how he jumped on the
See, but
podium?
this is the thing. Like, we have to watch something when we're winding down in the evenings. You know what I mean? So I am happy that this content exists.
Christian, if you enjoy Steven Anderson content, you have to go watch the interview I did with his son.
God, I think I might have saw it, man. I'm pretty sure I saw it. I'll go back and rewatch it. I'm pretty sure I saw it.
It got good. Like,
Because he was whipping them with drop cords, right?
He was what?
Whipping them with drop cords, right?
Oh man, that wasn't the least of it.
I remember
Apparently they
hearing
were
about
into
the drop
some
cords because I told
ping-pong
Aiden if he kept
paddle
one in his
play.
mouth, I was going to get like a 12 gauge and come after him.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yep. So Steven Anderson is not a very good person. And sadly, he's the leader and the voice of the NIFB. So all the other churches who left his influence, but also left the IFB, are just kind of stranded out there with no
Isn't that
belonging.
what like Tim and that other guy are on Ryan's channel? Is IFB?
They're either IFB or NIFB.
I think they're one or the other. I don't want to speak for them, but I think they are.
Yeah. There's not a total lot of difference between them. For one thing, I think the NIFB is primarily post-trib, and the IFB, I think a lot of them are pre-trib.
Oh, I did hear that. You might have been the one who told me that because I asked that question before. What was the difference?
Yeah. And the thing about the IFB and the NIFB is both of them take the rapture so serious, it causes church splits, family splits. Like, it's toxic in those movements.
How could you split with people just because you have a disagreement about that? I have never understood that. Maybe it's because I was not raised up in a denominational church or church at all. But the idea of having like an honest disagreement about something don't seem like a good enough reason to split a church.
Or a family.
Yeah, like can't we just disagree? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's affected my wife's family.
That's
There's been
wild, man.
engagements that were broken up over a belief in the rapture.
I mean, obviously there are some things you have to draw a line in the sand on some things, but just to have a difference of opinion about eschatology is no reason to split a church.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree, obviously.
Well, like the other day I was laughing because not the other day, it's been a couple of months ago, but David and Daniel were on a panel that I was on, David Zelitston, you know, and they were talking about how the Catholics and the Orthodox are not in communion. And I was like, guys, do you know what the word communion means? Because y'all are communing right now. This is what communion is. Like, if you weren't in communion, you wouldn't be here talking right now. Like, what do you mean you're not in communion? And I think some of that stuff goes over their head a little bit.
So Krista is correcting me. She is letting me know that there are a lot of differences. So Krista, please come tell us some of the differences. And Jamie, how are you?
Hello, Jamie.
You know,
Jamie,
for some reason we can't hear you, bro.
Terry's done put the whipping on him. Look at him. Can't even talk no more.
Yeah. She took his breath away. Or his voice box.
I know the feeling, Jamie.
Okay, now you can hear me.
She gave you your voice.
Drop cord. Look at him. She got that drop cord after.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You hear me now, right? Okay. So the NIFB is non-dispensational.
Hey, Robin.
They're not dispensationalists.
Okay. Hello, Robin. Yes, please tell us, Jamie. They're not dispensationalists. So in order to be pre-trib, you need to be a dispensationalist.
They're not. Yeah, they're not pre-trib and pre-trib. You have to be dispensational.
Hey, right. 1 second, guys. Krista is here. She doesn't want to go on camera, but she wants to just briefly tell us some of the differences between IFB and NIFB.
We got her first name and we got her last name, and we have her address.
She wasn't one of those three. She was one of the other three that made the 6.
I think IFB can be dispensational or not.
let's find out. So, what are some of the differences between the IFB and the NIFB?
Is that like a whole beaver
so
over there? Oh, it's a
So
cat.
the new IFB, most everybody in the new IFB, one of their key foundational things is they're all post-trib. Most of the IFB, which is just the regular Independent Baptist, they're normally all pre-trib.
Said
Normally,
IFB's pre-trib and IFB's post-trib.
Yes.
Okay.
They don't
and
have.
then another difference is most old regular Independent Baptists, they're dispensational, most of them. And then the new IFB is strictly they're non-dispensational.
But
Also, the new IFB, they believe in replacement theology,
The
that
new
the
IFB
Christians
is
have replaced the Jews.
non-dispensational?
He said NIFB is non-dispensational.
No, they're
I
non-dispensational.
didn't
Yeah,
know that.
Extremely.
extreme.
All of these beliefs they have that counter the other are to the extreme.
Stephen
And then-
Anderson is the one who started the NIFB.
Yes, Stephen Anderson is the head, face, and founder of the NIFB.
Yes.
huh,
All right, go on. What are the other differences?
And then one of the major key differences between the new IFB and the IFB is the new IFB believes in replacement theology. Basically, that the Christians have replaced the Jews, like we are God's chosen people.
I guess that makes sense if they're non-dispensationalists. I could see that.
yeah, because there is no way to attach all the verses that speak of rapture to pre-tribulation. So in order to do that, you either need to be a dispensationalist or to have some other theory around it, which that makes sense. But it sounds to me like they're not reading Romans 11 much, are they?
Well, yeah, I would. So I would argue that. So I'm post-trib, and I mean, I wouldn't identify as replacement theology, but I don't. I don't think God hates the Jews. So I would say, but in a lot of ways, a lot of the post-trib futurists, like Stephen Anderson, they might as well be pre-trib. To me, the problem with pre-trib historically is that they think that Jesus is going to come back and, to rapture the church, and then people would have another chance after that. But the people who are post-trib futurists, they call themselves post-trib pre-wrath, think the same thing. But historically, the problem everybody had with a pre-tribulation rapture was that it flies in the face of what Jesus warns about all through his ministry and what the New Testament warns about. Matthew 24. It's like, look, Jesus is going to come back, and when he does, you better be ready, because if you're not, you're screwed. Because the mark, if you believe the mark of the beast is going to occur before Jesus returns, that the mark of the beast seems to be for a warning to all people, right? Every tribe, tongue, and nation. It says in Revelation 13:8, it says, and power is given over him over every tribe, tongue, and nation, and everyone who worships the beast will be, all who dwell on the earth will worship the beast, except those whose names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life. So
that kind of verifies that the mark is going to be here before the rapture, because there will be people whose name is on the book of life, and it is verified by other verses in the book of Revelation too, by those that are singing the song in the temple, in the throne of God. That are those that didn't bow to the beast.
right.
So
They endure to the end, right? Like Jesus warning in Matthew
right,
24.
right.
If you look at the big one for me is, so I have agreements with pre-trib people on their problems with post-trib pre-wrath, even though I agree that it's post-trib. I just don't believe in the distinction of a lot of the futurists who say, I know this is just a bunch of kooky. If you don't know the differences, it's hard to know what I'm talking about. But I would just say, I'm what's the word? sympathetic to pre-trib and a lot of things, but as far as eschatology goes, but not theology so much. But like it says Paul says in 2 Thessalonians 2 to Christians about being resurrected on the last day. He says that day will not come unless there's a falling away that comes first. He's not talking to Jews there that are unconverted in the original context. He's saying, look, in the future, to people who believe that Jesus is going to resurrect the church, he's talking to them, and then he says there will be a falling away before Jesus comes back. I mean, to me, that's just, you can't get around that, in my opinion.
I agree. Who has something to say?
Oh yeah, I wasn't trying to stir up like an argument. I was just curious about the difference in those two organizations.
No, we're not arguing. We just didn't stick to the wheel subject. That doesn't matter. We don't
We should
care.
have known that wheel was a joke.
I mean, yeah, we just needed something to start. That's all.
I would add Greg Locke to the wheel. It would improve the wheel.
Who is
I
I
want
am
the-
Batman?
I don't know, but I want back to Beaver videos on
That's
the
Dean.
wheel.
Beaver videos, you said.
Beaver videos would be fine on the wheel.
I'll
Yeah.
make a beaver documentary and put them on the wheel.
Wait. Christian Pike, what is your position on eschatology? Are you I think, don't you believe that? It seems like I've heard you say that you think your interpretation of Romans 11, it has to do with physical Israel or whatever.
Oh, to put it as short as possible, I believe that the Gentile church goes out in a secret rapture just after the beginning of the week, right toward the beginning, but just after the revelation of the Antichrist. And I believe that only Jews are saved through the tribulation period, not Gentiles. And I believe that Revelation 19 is right at the end of the 7 years, and the Gentiles that were raptured return with him to take the Jews.
Okay. So
But
you're like mid-trib sort of view.
Well, I always tell people it's not technically pre, because I do think it happens after the covenant of the Antichrist is revealed, which is the beginning of the tribulation period, the riding of the first white horse. But I do think it's very close to the beginning, certainly within the first year, possibly like on day one, but not pre, because like Paul said, first the great falling away and the revelation of the man of sin has to happen. And so I understand that the revelation of the Antichrist and his covenant is the beginning of Daniel's last week. And so if that happens first, even if the church goes out 5 minutes later, it's still not pre. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So you're that's essentially the post. That's like that is the NIFB position regarding Daniel's 70th week. I'd like to talk to you about that sometime. I've done a lot of study on this, and I believe I'm a futurist. So I believe the time of trouble is in the future. I just don't think it's Daniel's 70th week. I think that's over. So, but I'm not a preterist. So, if you know what that is,
Yeah, I know what preterist is.
okay, yeah, I'm not that. So, but I'm not a futurist. I'm a historicist.
Okay.
But Adventists are kind of weird. And so I would want to ask you, if you look up Revelation 13:8, it's very clear. It says, all who dwell on the earth, every tribe, tongue, and nation will worship the beast, whose names have not written in the Lamb's book of life from the foundation of the world. So here would be my challenge to you from that view. It would be, if the Antichrist is what's interrupted by Christ's return to earth and the resurrection of the dead, and all those who worship the beast, it says later in Revelation, are thrown into the lake of fire. In other words, they're lost.
Yes.
How could it be that all who dwell on the face of the earth, every tribe and nation will worship the beast, which is the people? Thank you. See there?
I'm familiar with the chapter, Jamie.
He's got it on the screen.
What chapter is it?
Revelation 13, verse 8.
Are you asking me how I think this fits into the timeline? Is that the question?
Yeah, because let me just argue. I would argue that we know from 2 Thessalonians, don't pull this up, but we know from 2 Thessalonians 2 that the Antichrist is the one whom Jesus destroys when he comes from heaven. I'm just going to make the claim for now. And that now when we read Revelation 13:8, and this is a good translation, all inhabitants of the earth, it's all encompassing language, the whole earth, all inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast. That is all except those
Yes.
who are saved through the Lamb's blood, who was
Are
prophesied.
you're asking what I think about this verse?
Yeah, so I'm challenging you to say that if I would argue that if you worship the beast, you're going to be thrown into the lake of fire. And
For
this verse,
sure. No, that's definitely true. I believe that the only people at this point, which I think that this verse happens within the 7 years, I think that anybody at this point who is not among the 144,000 will worship the beast. That will be the only people during this time that do not.
right? But the mark of the beast happens before Jesus returns.
But wait,
Well, when you say
James,
Jesus is returning, like I said a minute ago, Revelation 19 is the bodily return of Christ to earth, which is after this.
Okay, go ahead.
one
Sorry,
point,
I'll stop there. That's fine.
one point though here is if I didn't lose it, if I didn't lose my train of thought,
I lose those sometimes.
that you just said Christian something, and I'm trying to remember what that was, and then you said about Revelation 19. Oh yeah, you said only the 144,000 will not receive the mark at this point. Everybody else will.
During the tribulation period. The way that I understand it is that the Gentile bride goes out right at the beginning of the week, and then the 144,000 are baptized in the Holy Ghost, which means sealed. And then a lot of them go on to give their life for the cause because they refuse to take the mark of the beast because the rest of the world takes it.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you're saying that the 144,000 will be the only ones left behind at this.
Those are the only people in my understanding during that time who do not take the mark of the beast.
The others, those that are written in the book of life but are not part of the 144,000, will have left already, right?
That's my understanding. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Is the 144,000, are all of them those who did not defile themselves with women, or they remained virgins?
Yes, it is a very distinct portion of the Jewish tribes, and they do have those characteristics. It's not all the Jews. It's 12,000 from each tribe that adds up to 144,000.
It's actually 12,000 from each tribe except for the tribe of Dan,
Yes.
and 24,000 from Joseph.
Oh, okay. Very, very important. Thank you for
Robin, my opinion about this is a tad bit controversial. I do think that it's referring to a spiritual thing as far as the great whore, not letting their spirits be infiltrated by the great whore. I don't think it's referring to them being natural virgins, but I'm in the minority on that.
But it says with women,
Yes.
not
Yes, because in a sense, there is this definition in the Bible of eunuchs, which gives us three types of eunuchs. One of the types is somebody who will not touch a woman by a choice, not because they were born that way, because this is another type of eunuch. The third type is those that have been castrated. And there is a third type, which is that for the love of God, they chose not to be with a woman. So it could be something like that. People like
Hey,
that.
can you guys hear me?
Yes, I am Batman.
Yeah,
Now
we can hear you, Dean.
Oh, okay. All right.
oof.
Are you Odin? Is that Odin?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Welcome, Odin.
At least somebody's excited to see me.
Hello.
Yeesh.
I'm always excited to see you, Dean. What happened to Jamie? Jamie left.
Yeah, where did Jamie go?
Jamie.
Get back here.
I was gonna ask you guys a question. Is there a no tribulation position?
What did you say, Dean? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys earlier. I wanted to ask when Jamie was in the room, but is there a no tribulation theology?
There are people who are they just sort of believe that everything that was prophesied as far as the tumultuous times has all been fulfilled. Like preterists, for instance, think that we are living during the millennial kingdom. So there are like a very small minority of people who have positions like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Is that the 70 AD people?
Yeah, for the most part, that's how they interpret it. Yeah.
There are two types, the partial preterists, who just think that some parts have been fulfilled and then the tribulation part is in the future. And then there are the full preterists that think that everything has been fulfilled. And it's what Christian just said, that they believe that we are in the millennial kingdom right now, which I would add, it doesn't feel like it.
You know what I always tell them, Achilles? I always tell them that we're about 2,000 years into the 1,000-year reign of Christ.
Yeah, the Bible misjudged some dates and times there, it
You know,
appears.
give or take 1,000 years.
And I
Two.
tell Krista all the time, if preterism is correct, we got hosed. Because this
Right.
new kingdom sucks.
Yeah, he said that everybody would plant their own vineyard, and I don't even have a vineyard.
I'll
No
take the old
war.
kingdom any day.
No war, but this country I live in's been at war most of my life.
Yeah. He said if they don't go to Jerusalem to worship, there won't be any rain on their crops, and it rains all the time, and ain't nobody around here worshiping at Jerusalem.
And you know what, Christian? I live in Alabama now, but I've lived in Georgia, as you recall, and you're right, it rains a whole bunch there.
It also says there will be no tears, there will be no pain, there will be no suffering. And I don't know if preterists have been looking around them, but there's pretty much a lot of that.
I don't see no temple coming from the sky either, or no new.
Right, we would have noticed, wouldn't we?
I don't see the Mount of Olives splitting in two and water, living water gushing from it either.
Yeah, no. What's disappointing is that there are some very some scholars that are very dear to my heart, that they've taught me so much stuff, and they believe in Calvinism. They are Calvinists, and it's so disappointing when everybody can see that that's not the case. But there is another type. I don't know. Let me just describe that for you, Odin. You might know it. I don't know. The reason we arrived to the tribulation time is the book of Daniel, that speaks of that 7-day period, which we call years. And then in the book of Revelation, it speaks of the woman, which we know it to be the church, that will live for 3.5 years. And that's the half of 7 years. So there is always a chance that because we're human, we might all be getting it wrong. There might
I
be a
think we're
time.
all.
I
Yeah.
always reserve that possibility, Achilles.
Right. We should be humble about this, because I do think if you were in the previous discussion that we were having, not you, Christian, but if somebody is humble about the fact that I might be wrong, then there should be no split in families the way we talked about this issue, separating a family because they have like a different position. So, we got to remain humble.
Can I just say that even though this is not something I've studied, you guys probably at this point know the stuff that I've studied even a little bit, right? This is different because I've written papers on them, but I haven't studied this, but just with my basic understanding, I don't think any of this, any of what we are discussing when it comes to the tribulation and stuff like that, I don't think any of that will happen until probably like thousands upon thousands of years in the future. Because I'm going to be honest, based on what I remember from what I read, right? Um, Christianity is going very strong right now. The church is very strong. Relative to how we used to fight and war against each other in the past, just 100 years ago compared to now, it's it's not even close. We're not even worrying as much. There's not as so. I think when Christ returns, it's going to be like a Sodom and Gomorrah situation, or an Ezekiel situation, where the whole planet is just so messed up, and people are so messed up because of sin and oppression, to where the Father is going to be like, okay, time's up. I can't deal with this anymore, and the judgment will start its process, right? Because every time judgment happens, you know, the judgment is personal, right? Christ is here on earth, and he's making a judgment on a group of people, right? And in terms of the 144,000, right? The Lord is always going to keep his promise, in that he always leaves a remnant, right? A remnant of Jacob will always exist. But notice that each time the remnant comes up, right? The remnant are people who are actually the most faithful to him, right? That's the one thing that you always, they're considered saints, so to speak, depending on your persuasion.
A short response
Sure.
to what you've said so far? Because if
I'd
you
like to
continue,
also.
yeah, because if you continue, it's more subjects, and we're gonna like get lost in the, you know. So I'll try to keep it short. First off, you said at the very, very, very beginning that you've studied different things, and we know. I don't know anything about you. I know one thing about you. I know you like Bleach, and you're my man. All right. The others,
Bleach
the
is
others,
awesome.
the others in the panel, they don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I don't know if you watched the Thousand Year War yet. Have you?
Oh boy, come on, bro. You can't ask me that
I
question,
thought y'all
bro.
meant that stuff that Trump said to inject in our veins for COVID. I wasn't sure.
What?
Have you watched the new season, the Thousand Year War?
Yes, sir, and I can't wait for it to continue.
Come on, man. They left us hanging. Come on.
Yeah, that's not
Anyway,
fair, bro.
yeah. Anyway, so here's the thing. There is another perspective that I'm going to invite you to look at,
Okay.
which is that there have never been times in the past where people have deviated from the gospel itself and have segregated Christianity so much. So right now, yes, we're not killing each other. I agree. But you see people, the Bible says that there will be an apostasy. So if you break down that word in Greek, it means distance. And so many have distanced themselves from the truth because it is not convenient. So we have all these sects that call themselves the original church, and if you're not with us, then we label you a heretic, we label you anathema. So this is one quick part. The other one is that we've never been so close to having a system in place where it's gonna start becoming much easier to pick up some number that if you don't have it, you won't be able to buy and sell. In the past, there had never been people shopping with their watch the way they're shopping now. Everybody has their credit card in their watch or in their smartphone, and they shop with it. At some point, if they block that smartphone because you did something, because you didn't take the mark, you won't be able to buy or sell. So this is getting employed in all companies we got all companies mandated now to use credit cards. It's very rare to find places where you can use cash. So that is a second indication that we might be way closer than where you put it in time. And I had a third one,
My point is on
but I'll
time.
leave this to another panelist. Go ahead, Steven.
I mean, no, if you can think of your third point, go
I
ahead.
don't. Yeah, go ahead.
But it's interesting that we both had the same point. So I do agree with you from study that the time is way far out. I don't think it's as close as everyone or a lot of people believe it is. You put it out thousands of years. From my study, I think the most accurate, detailed calculation of the age of the Earth is somewhere about 6,300 to 400 years old. So I believe we're probably about 6 to 700 years from his return. I think his return will mark the 7,000th year, the beginning of which will be his millennial reign. So I think we do have time, but when I look around me and I see the Earth just totally falling apart, I am reminded at how quick the beast system and the antichrist system could come into place, like just overnight, at like a time never before.
I mean, uh, I think that's an interesting perspective, but in terms of what the beast, the false prophet, and the dragon would be able to do, and the level of oppression that's detailed, right? Um, uh, I mean, unless you don't, unless you don't see them as actual, like, individuals, right? Doing things, I see them as individuals, and the amount of power and influence that they're going to be wielding, right? Most people would consider those things to be miracles, right? But it's just going to be technology. And I think, like, right now,
You're referring to the lying signs and wonders?
yeah, right. And so if they're performing these signs and wonders, right, and I understand that where their power comes from, right, but ultimately the devil always used the power that's available to man, right, to enforce his will on the planet and on people. And so if they're doing those things, I think it's going to be used through technology. And based on, as someone who works within that industry, that level of technology is it's a good distance away from now for various reasons. Not only that, I I don't think the level of suffering that at least Christians are experiencing right now is even close. The amount of people who are actual Christians now are like above the 2 billion mark. Um, you know,
Is it
I
okay if I comment on that, Dean?
sure.
You are correct as far as in the literal sense that we're not going through it as much as we used to, or even nearly as much. I actually think that the successful strategy of Satan is right the opposite. I think that the great falling away is due to lethargy and comfort and being at ease in Zion. It seems to me like historically persecution is what grows the church and strengthens faith, whereas times like these where everything is so available and everybody is so safe is when you see atheism and secularism on the rise. So I actually think that he uses this false peace, this sense of we have what we need in order to lull people away from sincere faith. I think that is what the great falling away actually is.
Christian, your point is actually proven with Korea. In North Korea, where Christianity is extremely persecuted, Christianity is on the rise. But across the border in South Korea, where Christianity is welcomed, it's on a rapid decrease. It's lost a lot of ground to atheism.
I try to think like if I was Satan, which would be a more effective strategy, and I think that the comfort would be a more effective strategy.
So the in my opinion, the best way, the best way at the end of the day to to um if I'm the devil, what I would do in order to essentially destroy people's faith and relationship with God is to corrupt what God has left us, is to corrupt his word. How do you corrupt God's word? By mixing it with concepts and ideas that are essentially antithetical to what they're supposed to achieve. The, you know, Pike knows me personally. I don't mix politics and Christianity or any social beliefs with Christianity. If you're a Christian, you're a Christian, right? You're not a, liberal Christian or a conservative Christian. You should be a Christian, and you should live by those Christian values, which is given to us by Christ and his disciples, right? Now,
Well said.
that's just my personal opinion. Everyone can do what they want. However, the best way to get people to go against or to do things against their core belief is to give them two masters, right? The master can be politics, it could be social issues, it could be greed, it could be a host of things. As long as you give them another master, there is a really good chance, unless they go through some really difficult times, right? They're going to pick one master over the other, and it's going to be the one that's on earth, not the one in heaven.
100% agree. And I think that kind of contradicts your previous point. Not contradicts, I think it responds to the previous point that if you look at it from this perspective that you just described right now, is there really true faith all over the place? Uh,
Yeah, I would agree because okay, so I'll give you a perfect example.
for a quick example from me, being in the MAGA movement doesn't say you're Christian. You're becoming anti-Christian. You are
Yeah,
idolizing an individual.
because Robin is a future convert to Christianity, and she's very far left. She cannot stand Trump.
No, you don't
See,
have to be far
Listen,
left.
I ain't complaining. Welcome, Robin.
Yeah, I know. You don't even have to be far left to not be able to stand Trump. I mean, actual conservatives should despise Trump. Can I make a point though?
That man's
Yeah,
about to
go
give
ahead.
me $2,000, Robin.
yeah,
Okay.
let's hear your point, Miss Robin.
I wanted to
Will
respond.
raise money.
I wanted
Yeah.
to respond to Stephen about North Korea.
Hmm.
Um, First of all, like I believe in totally in freedom of thought. Like I don't believe that freedom of conscience is anything that we should ever like control. Like our minds cannot be controlled by, and so I think that like banning Christianity or any religion because actually North Korea has sort of a religion. I mean, the
It
president
does.
is a dead man. Like his son is like the third in command or whatever, and the man who leads the country supposedly has been dead for years.
Oh yeah, the regime is the religion.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah,
so
they
it is
worship
a
him as a
religion.
god.
So they don't want any like competing religions is what it is. But when you live in a place where you're barely being fed, like we drop food into North Korea, like we make food drops all there all the time. Because he starves those people, and they live like just completely, just they're impoverished bad, and they have no kind of like nothing to look forward to every day, and so it's easy to see why any religion that would like speak on freeing people from that kind of oppression would bring hope into them. I mean, like
Yeah.
it's it's understandable for somebody like in that position right there to look for some way to think that they're going to get out of this
Yeah, because
situation in life.
think about it. So, Robin, in the scriptures, there is a concept where God purchases you, right? And what he does is that he purchases you from the bondage of slavery. And when it says slavery, right? Like there's obviously the literal slavery like in Egypt, right? But there's also slavery in terms of oppression and slavery when it comes to sin, right? And oppression manifests as a result of sin in the first place. So technically it's still from sin again, ultimately, right? And so that freedom includes the freedom of thought, right? And the freedom to make choices, because you cannot love or have a relationship with God without those things. And so, yeah, a religion like Christianity that promotes that idea, regardless of whatever that could come of it, right? That is poison to the rulers of that particular country. Absolute poison.
Now, just briefly, I want to get theories of creation in on this, and then Robin will let you take it back. Theories of creation, you listening in?
Yeah, I'm actually glad you said that because I have just like one kind of comment. I'm wondering if this mark of the beast that will be implanted in the center of the forehead is going to take away our freedom of thought, because that is the last domain freedom we have is, within our minds, within our own imagination, within our own hearts. I know it's kind of out there, but
What is?
Yeah.
Can you all hear that background noise? Is that something on mine?
Yeah,
Something-
theories of creation. It's coming from yours. You may want to go into your settings in EV Mux and put like background noise reducer on.
let's see, audio. I have background noise reduction on. I don't know what it would be. I don't even have a fan or my
Is your
furnace.
Maybe
is your cell phone sitting close to your microphone?
Decently close. It's on the charger.
That got better.
Put it under in the drawer.
In the drawer, yeah. Wrap it up in tinfoil.
Well, I've already got my head wrapped up in tinfoil. That's why I have.
Yeah, I was
my
gonna say
camera.
wrap my head up in tinfoil. Daniel just said about the Big Eye Atlas that they're coming.
No, you only wrap your head in tinfoil if you're trying to keep Alex Jones from making the frogs gay.
It's too late for that.
too late for that.
That ship has sailed.
Alex
Let's
Jones,
see,
man.
echo cancellation, auto
That's
gain
better.
control recommended. Is it better?
Or it's better when you speak.
Yeah.
I don't know when you don't speak. Like
Let me
doesn't.
try switching.
It's good.
How
Just
about now? I
if
switched
you're going a
microphone.
long period of time without, I don't hear it anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I went from my desktop to my auxiliary microphone and camera there. That might have been why. I was wondering why you were muting me every 5 seconds.
Yeah, that was why there was some background noise. That and it was to derail Robin's awesome points.
Okay. How's it sound now? Is it fine?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Okay.
It looks like Achilles went to go feed the doggies. So, Robin, do you want to respond to the last point that I Am Batman was making? And Pike, you can get in on it. You're
No,
all
no,
welcome to get
I
in on it.
agree. I agree with Odin. I mean, like it's like I don't I'm an atheist, but I do believe that
Allegedly.
yeah, I am, but allegedly, but I do believe that places like North Korea, do not want competing religions. I mean, like I believe that, and because um, and I feel like that anytime people are like it bothers them that there are competing religions, that shows some sort of weakness in what they believe, I think.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I was just agreeing with the point that Christian made, which is that the Bible historically teaches us, especially through Israel, because Israel is a shadow picture of the church today to us and how we draw nearer to God. And historically, every time Israel was prosperous, they got really deep into pagan worship and idol worship, idolatry of all types, and they got away from God. And God would have to send them through various forms of persecution in order to draw them back in closer to Him. And I think Korea was a perfect example to solidify Christian's point. North Korea, Christianity's on the increase. Across the border, where it's free to worship God, it's on the decrease. It's going down because they have the freedoms, they have atheism, they're getting more enlightened.
Yeah, I just don't think that religious freedom would ever lead to. It doesn't have the same results as religious persecution. What I mean to say is, I don't believe religious persecution will ever lead to the great falling away. I think that only religious liberty and, like the phrase in the scriptures, being at ease in Zion, I think only that can lead to the great falling away. And Christianity has to become very, very populous around the world in order for there to be a great falling away. And like Dean was saying, now you're pushing 2,000 people that name the name of Christ. So we're primed and ready in a
2
position for
billion.
falling away.
2 billion.
That's what I meant. 2 billion. Yeah,
2,000.
I got 2,000 kids,
Bro,
Robin.
yeah, right. That's what I was about to say. Yo, you're probably talking about his kids.
In order to have a great falling away, you have to have a great number of professing Christians. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, right? Because like now I'm thinking about it, right? Like you have a situation where where a large percentage of Christians are of the persuasion of serving two masters. Because you can actually kind of flip my idea on its head and be like, well, you just made the point that how the devil would essentially erode the church from within, which is to cause a great falling away, is to have people serve two masters, right? And so uh, I'm going to be honest, a lot of Christians serve two masters.
Yes, I agree. In fact, they seems like to me that they serve one way more than the other.
Yeah,
I
the
agree
Lord
with
said
that.
that. The Lord said that they'll, hate one and love the other, meaning
I have,
preference.
like, in our current situation now in the United States, I have a hard time seeing how anybody who calls himself a Christian.
Robin, you trying to tell me you don't think Kenneth Copeland's sincere? Come on, Robin.
Think, is Ken Copeland, is he still alive?
Oh, yeah, he's still blowing the wind of God.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, but
That man got jets on jets.
I
His
knew some.
God told him he's going to live to be 120.
I knew some of them. Some
Oof.
of those guys died last year. So, but like, like when you're like pushing not to feed people and your stuff, and even this is one thing I don't understand about MAGA. It's in the Bible. I've read parts of the Bible. I have one sitting right here on my desk, and there's like phrases in there where it says that you are supposed to that treat the immigrant, like your own country people, your countrymen. Um, and
It's
so
probably like 20 or 20 something verses that addresses that
there's a lot.
particular
There's a
issue.
lot. Even in before Jesus came along. I mean, that is in the old book. That
The
is
Old
in
Testament.
the Old Testament, and so that's. So I just don't understand, and like nothing that
But
they.
Robin, if we treated those illegal immigrants like the government treats American citizens, they'd all be homeless. They couldn't afford rent. They'd be scraping up, losing their homes to pay back taxes on their property. You don't
Right.
want to do that to those poor people.
Well, I
They'd
mean,
be
I
paying
don't. I'm not.
50% taxes to give everybody else free welfare, free medical benefits, and all the other stuff. Always scrape to work at a dead end factory job, right? Yeah,
That's
let's
a
treat them
terrible
like
life.
Americans.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't. I pay taxes. I've worked all my life. I'm disabled now, but I up until 3 months ago I worked. And I was fine with my taxes going to feed kids and hungry people. And if there were a few people who abused that system, that's part of it. I would rather think that I fed 10 people who didn't deserve it than not feed the one that did. And and I'm an atheist, so
I mean, I
I
I
don't even
res-
see that that is an issue about. I think that that's just a moral position, and I don't. But and like I'm not for just open borders, everybody just pouring in here because we have to control some of that. But I don't think that we are to just ship them off to torture prisons either, and like to countries that they're not from. And we shouldn't strip children away from their parents. And I don't think that. I think if we're going to if people want to refer to the United States as a Christian nation, then they're a long way from acting that way.
well, the thing is the principles that we see in Scripture are for Christians to be generous givers. And we are generous givers. We give a huge amount of money all around the world to help with poverty and to fight world hunger. We're very generous. The Bible never even suggests that socialistic view that any government can take away your riches, your wealth, your hard earned income, and make you give. That's not Christian at all. Now, I don't have any problems with the food stamp program. Individual tax paying Americans end up spending very little in hindsight on on the food stamps. I think it's under $5 an American who pays taxes goes towards food stamps. $5 a month to help feed people that are struggling. But also, I would point out, Robin, in ancient times, even, yes, we were commanded to treat the alien or immigrant the same as our own countrymen, but those nations always reserve the right to kick out aliens who were violating their laws, who were, a pestilence to society. Like, they didn't have to keep every traveling alien. It's just the aliens you allowed into your country, you have to treat them the same as your countrymen, which I think we do a pretty good job of.
I think we do a terrible job of it. But and like I said, I know we have to get rid of. But I want to ask y'all something. Have y'all seen this talk, like this something this TikTok video? This woman, do y'all know about it? It's gone viral. Okay, she lives in Kentucky. She's an atheist. She calls like a whole bunch of churches. I don't know how many actually it turned out to be, but she calls them. She has a recording of a baby crying. She tells them that she has a job and that she is her baby ran out of formula the day before, and that she has no formula, and asks them will they buy her some formula. And she calls a bunch of churches, and she gets a lot of responses of yes. One man in particular that lived in Kentucky, a man, like he cried over it and was like willing. And then of course, after she's been says tells them all this, at the end she tells them that she was, that she did not actually have a baby, and that she had just was doing this as a thing. But she got like it was like 80% turned her down. 80%.
Can
And
I throw in one comment real quick? My first thought is usually when somebody asks me for something, I usually seek the Spirit, and God, who knows all and everything, can usually discern what's going on. And if He's going to reach out to this lady if the lady's falsely reaching out to churches, obviously the Spirit isn't really going to lead people to give to her if He senses that she's doing it falsely or lying to them, right?
well, I mean, it didn't. You'd have to say that the people that agreed to furnish her with formula, and there were a few, and then they didn't have any connection with the Spirit, even though they were willing to help this woman. I mean, she wasn't asking for money; she was asking for formula. So, like, you would have to say that those people who were actually willing to help someone weren't given the.
I'm curious her motive. I want to know how many.
Um,
Um,
I'm not. See, I'm not. I can't remember her name. Even it's been like all over TikTok though, and I don't have TikTok, so that's one reason why I'm not. But like I saw a bunch of stuff about it on. I can see if I can find it. Um, but it's made a big deal because like a lot of people just told her plain no, and I mean the bigger the church, it seemed like the less likely they were to help her too.
well, there's a
That's
difference
definitely
between
true.
picking up the phone. A lot of people can up the phone and ask anybody and beg anybody. But if you're real sincere and you're really in a desperate of a situation, I think you'd be more likely to go knock on their door, walk into church. If I saw, a woman, or a single mother who had a baby and was starving and she walked into the church, I'd be more likely to give her something than just a phone call because you get so many spam calls all the time.
Uh,
I'd almost encourage her to go do that and try it again. Even borrow somebody's kid and say, I need formula, and then go refilm the video and see what kind of results you get that way.
she records it. Like you can type into YouTube, woman calls churches looking for baby formula, and there's like all kinds of videos that come up about it. But maybe y'all want to watch that maybe later or something. I
And you
thought
said she's an atheist. I'm wondering if her motive is to just, bring
was,
hate down on churches and try to.
or maybe or expose the fact that many churches are not actually. I mean, like one of the reasons why churches were kept tax free in the United States was because it was um, considered like it was
It's not a
expected.
place of profit. It's not
Yeah,
supposed to be a place to make money.
Yes, right, and it's
The
supposed to be
charity.
a charity. Like
Somebody
there
told
is supposed
Joel
to be
Osteen
a
that.
certain amount of charity that goes along with churches.
That's
And
how I know that I'm the right kind of minister, Robin, because I'm not making any money.
yes,
Yet.
but you know, but I mean, you know, when the churches like have stopped doing the charity that was expected of them, that allowed them to be tax havens, is it time to tax them? You know what I mean? Like instead of like, you know, because that was the expectation of the churches, because that was in the past, that was more of a church thing.
Well, it's
That
not the only
I
expectation, you know. I mean, the pastor needs to make, some sort of money. And this country was founded off of biblical principles, and they didn't want to start
what
taxing the churches because they wanted the gospel to be preached freely in this nation.
which biblical principle was the country founded on? Can I
Pick
ask?
up YouTube and look up Kirk Cameron's monuments.
No,
You
I
will
don't
get
need.
a
No,
whole.
no, no, no. I want you to tell me. I don't want to watch Kirk Cameron. I mean, like if you don't mind, that would be that would be great because I would love to know.
Um, Man, you put me on the spot here. Um, I know Thomas Jefferson, said that he couldn't imagine building a country. I'm paraphrasing, without the main education seeing being from the Bible. Um,
Okay, Tom, can I just make a point about that? Thomas Jefferson took a razor knife to the Bible and cut out every supernatural event in the Bible. Like it's called the Jeffersonian Bible, and it's on display in the was the museum in Washington D.C. The Smithsonian. It's on display in the Smithsonian, and he took a razor knife and cut out every supernatural event in the Bible.
um, so I know the Constitution says. Sorry, I was looking a couple things up. Declaration of Independence assertion that all individuals are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, reflects biblical ideas of innate human dignity,
No,
limited government, moral and religious liberty.
wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Okay, you're
Uh,
reading something like that's not in the Declaration of Independence, though. What you said about I mean, like you're adding to the Declaration. You read the part of it, but then the preamble within your. Are you reading something that is like explaining it or something? Or
yeah, I don't have an actual copy of the Declaration of Independence in front of me. I can
well, it
pull it
does
up
say
and
that
read it.
they're granted certain rights from their creator. It says their creator, like, but like I mean, I agree that we should always have freedom of religion. I do believe that. I mean, I believe that no one should ever be told what to think. Um, I just don't believe that. But
Um, just to assist to help bring this out of the political argument, I want to make clear to you, Robin, that what you said about some churches is the very reason we here are talking about an apostasy and a falling away from the truth of the gospel.
Yep.
Because if you read, was it Corinthians? I think it is First Corinthians 13 that is defining love. Um, it gives us a list of things that you might think you are doing as a Christian, but if you have love, you are nothing. And there is also the letter of John, the first letter of John, that describes love and says that if you have love, you are born of the Father. If you don't have love, you are not born of the Father. And the whole book and the whole history of the Old Testament to New Testament was a way to describe self-sacrificial love that God preserved for us so we can be saved and be purchased by the blood, as I am Batman was saying earlier. So the churches that are not that way and they're closing the door on atheists. We are with you for not uh, calling them churches. They're not churches, and they're representing a terrible example that is leading people to say that if a church is like that, I don't want to be part of that. So we consider them guilty for being the bad example. So keep that in mind. That's not what a church should be.
I mean, I agree.
I
And
mean, if
we
you
don't have to, theories of creation, we don't have to go into the political stuff because they don't usually like politics on here anyway. So that's
let me just say this, right? Because Christ said to his disciples that we, right, the body, his children, will do greater things than him, right? And if you really look at it for all intents and purposes, right, in terms of what the church has done to just help people, right? Setting up orphanages, setting up systematic places of healing, we would call them hospitals today, setting up global charities. Like the church has done a lot and is still doing a lot right now. And yes, is there some corruption? Yes, there's always going to be wolves in sheep's clothing who will prey on the shepherd's sheep. That will always be the case. And yes, every now and then, if you look through church history, the church cleans itself up, right? But they'll always just pop back up. And so, as a body, our focus ultimately should be, our actions should be grounded in love at the end of the day, and it's the type of self-sacrificial love, right? When I hear a pastor using or making money by spreading the gospel, so much money that he can purchase private jets and stuff like that. I mean, that church to me, that's not something that's there to heal. That's something there to make profit over, right? And they're not even giving unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, right? They're not paying their taxes as they're commanded to. And they
Right.
know they should be paying their taxes because they know what they're doing is for a profit.
I agree.
But they drive the same streets, that supposedly taxis are paying, because let's face it, they're going elsewhere. But supposedly that's what taxis are. And Jesus did make a distinction there and said, give to the Father what belongs to the Father and
Yep.
give to the Caesar what belongs to Caesar. It's his face on the dollar. No,
Yeah,
it
it's
wasn't
his
the dollar.
face on
But
it. Yeah,
yeah,
the government, it, I, I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, Christians can't have political beliefs. You can have whatever beliefs you want,
yeah, of course.
you know?
Just don't idolize that much the way it has turned. I mean, Odin, I don't know if you've heard me say this before. I think that the new government of the US has hurt Christians way more than the previous government did. Because what the previous government did was obvious. You can see your enemy. But this one is turning them into idol worshippers, and it's happening underneath their nose. And I think it's more dangerous than the previous one. So it's a greater trap.
Yeah, it's dangerous stuff, man.
I mean, literally, the guy came up immediately when he got elected with a golden statue of himself in Gaza. Remember that? Like he made an AI video of a golden statue of himself on Gaza, and
Yes,
70% of Christians, I'm not American Christians, I'm not gonna call all Christians, but 70% of Christians were like, yeah, I don't see the problem with that. It's fine. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
okay.
Yeah.
I was staying focused on politics, and now you're going to go back into it.
No, I mean, he's just using that as an example because this is more of a spiritual lesson type thing, like an example of serving two masters,
It
right?
is.
And
It is. It
you
is
know,
biblical to make a distinction between politics and religion, because the Bible is clearly warning us against loving the princes of this world, because the world belongs to Satan. And I see a lot of Christians going for the princes. So they need to be warned. I just about your argument, guys. I do think that the U.S. Has been created supposedly on Christian ethics, but it was an all-encompassing nation, and that's why it has turned to what it has turned today, because it is not strict, and it has never been strict. Like we have communities, we have Muslim communities, you have Greek communities, you have Chinese communities. Like everybody is supposedly free, so that is more free to choose, whatever religion they want. So I think that is more of the premise of the Constitution of the US. I will agree with Robin. It's more of the freedom of religion, even
Listen, man.
though,
The
right?
only the only Christian nation that I believe in and that should exist is when Christ returns. He judges everyone, and he presents that new, beautiful Jerusalem and a new creation, and everybody's good. That's the only Christian nation that I care about.
And
I
and
don't care
and
about
that
no other Christian nation.
and that brings me a little bit back to the original point on the other discussion before I left you guys, and you like went off. I don't know even what I missed. Um, that there are some nations on the earth that call themselves Christians, a Christian nation, right? One of them is my country here, Greece. Now, this nation here is captive to orthodoxy. It is so captive to orthodoxy that they no longer call themselves Christians.
That's
The
crazy.
Yeah, they call themselves Orthodox. So I've been walking since I got reborn, saved in 10 years ago. I've been going house to house talking about the gospel. Nobody has a Bible, and they call themselves Orthodox, but there is no Bible.
Damn, not even a Bible app
Yes.
on their phone?
I suppose some can, but they are not. This system has convinced them that it's a joke. You shouldn't even like care for it. They don't know this whole thing about the apps being online. They just go to church every Sunday. They take the Eucharist, and then they think God is fine with all that. So the reason I'm bringing this up is to say that I think that the reason people don't see um, how rough these times are, when even those that call themselves Christians, Christian nations with the seal, we are a Christian nation, like sealed, like a sign, we have a contract, we are a Christian nation. They're no longer Christian nations. Um, you can't travel as an American Christian. You wouldn't choose North Korea as a vacation, would you? Would you choose the Middle East? No, I don't think so. Would you choose China? So if you add them up, I don't think there has ever been time that Christians are so scared to travel as much as we are right now. So there is
So,
this
what do you
thing.
think about this then, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about the idea, specifically, it's not just in Hebrews, but I'm bringing up the particular scripture in Hebrews that talk about Christians essentially going from drinking milk to, eating solid food. Do you think it's a situation where those churches are not giving the people any solid food? They're not allowing them to mature in their relationship with Christ? Because if all people because if so the tricky thing with religion is that it could become culture, right?
And it has in my country,
Oh, okay, that's
100%.
fair.
Yeah. And I agree 100%, because Jesus, quoting scriptures when he was talking to Satan, he said, "It is written that man will not live only with bread, but with spiritual bread," right?
Yep.
And yeah, we're not getting any, no spiritual bread here. But you get some bread every Sunday, which they say has been blessed to be God's, the body of Christ, and that's it.
A cracker.
So, so even my neighbor, I will point out with my hand here, my house across the street, they don't know Christianity. The house next to that, they don't know Christianity. The house next to it, they don't know Christianity. The house next to me, oh, she is a believer, but she doesn't have a Bible. She's an old woman that goes to church, helping about on everything that the church needs. She's daily inside the church. She takes the Eucharist every Sunday, and I guess all week, but she doesn't know what the Bible says. So
Yeah,
I'm bringing that in just, and when I said your original point was like how close we are, I think we are way closer. I think the apostasy is taking place, the falling away, the other translation for an apostasy is falling away. It is close, but I think the exact word is even more specific. It means distance. So we've distanced ourselves from the truth, which is loving your neighbor as you would love your own self and put God above both of you. It's that simple. And I think we live in a world where not only Christianity is not what it should be,
it's not loving.
but loving is on a real bad place. Like there is no empathy, there is apathy about everything, and I think we are way closer. I wish I am right because we can't live 1,000 years in this shit. I mean,
But
Uh, for
we won't be Achilles. We'll be dead before 1,000 years. We won't be there.
yeah, I mean, okay, but I'm not gonna take my life. But
No, we ain't got to take our life. We just won't live 1,000 years, though.
I know, but I'm saying I'm not gonna take my life. But I'm getting extremely disappointed every breath I take in this world.
I mean,
So
but imagine Christians back then where they were experiencing like real persecution. Imagine their level. See, here's the thing, right? Like faithfulness, it's really when I did some research on faith in terms of what it means, not necessarily just from New Testament standpoint, but from the the Old Testament standpoint, really the word that should be used is faithfulness because an action is implied in there the same way with love, right? um and so I think for the most part that most Christians are loving people. um and I think most of the problematic things that we do see um, is obviously from the minority, and I think that's just basically the wolves in sheep's clothing being wolves in sheep's clothing.
yeah, and it's the minority that the magnifying glass falls upon, and
Yeah,
it, right?
yes,
No, I agree. Even in denominations, like although let's say Mormons are a terrible religion, it is consisted of the greatest people. Like they have the greatest heart, right? They're the ones that are gonna help you. They're the ones that are gonna bake you a cake and bring it to your door. You know, they're great people. The same thing with Catholics, but their religion is not close to the truth.
the beautiful thing is that we're all going to be judged by our deeds and our hearts, regardless of how we choose to practice that religion, right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a religious man. I would, write down my prayers and read them out, right? My conversations with the Father sometime are, they are they can be pretty frustrating. And it's not necessarily because my life is extremely difficult or whatever. I am not rich, you know, certainly not middle class, right?
Is there
But
such thing anymore?
relative to relative to what other people are experiencing, my life previously, you know I am blessed and I appreciate that. So my prayers a large part into you know getting getting people who need the help more help, right? And even the people who think they don't need help, the ones who are living good, who they don't have no problems as they're as because they have all the resources, you have to pray for them too, because those same lifestyles that they have can end up damning them at the end of the day, right? The people who always think they're right, right? Their sense of what's right and wrong, which is, we could switch up real quick based on circumstance, right? Like, you have to pray for them too.
We don't know anybody who thinks they're right all the time.
Mhm.
Hey, listen, man, I'm not going to co-op it or not, I don't know if you're taking shots, so
Not at nobody here. Not at nobody here.
Especially
Let,
on the internet. Yeah.
yeah, let theories of creation get in here. Uh, you want to say something?
Go ahead, Richard, if you have something to add.
Um, yeah, I'm completely out of smart aleck remarks right now. Um,
that's fair, brother.
Some point that has been made, and I don't think, maybe I wasn't here if you made a statement on it. We were discussing where in the end times are we. So what I was telling I am Batman or Dean right now was his
oh yeah,
position.
yeah, yeah.
His position was that it is like in 1,000 years from now, and I brought in the fact that I think we are way, way closer than the others got into it. I had to leave to feed my dogs, so just
Well,
throwing that out there if you want to add to it.
I know with one of the signs that Jesus gave us is, we'd see, great plagues, and obviously what happened a few years ago, I think, was one of them. Um, Obviously, there's been, you know, earthquakes, and floods for many years. I don't know if they've been increasing because I
They,
know media
I
is
believe
old.
they, I believe they have in the past 5, 7 years. I don't think we've ever seen so much stuff happening every winter. Winters are so scary when they come.
Right. Um, and I know the Bible isn't specific on whether or not the floods, would be caused naturally or, by some sort of,
Harp,
yeah, or weaponry, for lack of a better term.
yeah. Isn't it funny that instrument? I'll call it an instrument, but it has the name of what an angel would play, a harp, and we know that fallen angels are in control of what is happening. Ain't that interesting?
But that is an interesting connection. Um, well, I know exactly 2,000 years from when Christ died is what, 7 or 8 years from now, about 8 years from now. I'm not saying whether or not that's when he's coming back or that's when the tribulation will start or anything. I'm still on the fence whether or not I'm post trib and or pre trib. Dr. Hovind had some really good points, which made me start leaning that way. But I know Christians for the last 2,000 years have been saying, "Oh, Jesus is coming back soon." Well, it doesn't say in the Bible that he's coming back soon, at least
And,
not that I've seen specifically.
and
Um,
they've also been saying, don't worry about the whole mark thing. We won't be here for it. So,
I
yeah,
don't know. I do believe they are developing the mark of the beast as we speak. I think Neuralink is just kind of what they're, bringing to the light and what they're letting us see. What is how do magicians work? And I think the CIA and a lot of other major um, powerful governments use some of the same tactics. It's like, how does a magician, like a misdirection kind of thing, like look at the hand over here while I'm doing the trick with this hand over here.
yeah.
um, I did some research on computer brain interface, and there are a couple companies that are actually putting together or developing them at the moment. Facebook is one of them. I forget the university, but it's with a university in Texas. They're using electrical synapse and blood pressure in the brain, to kind of map out and kind of connect the brain
Yeah,
with
I read that. I read
our
about that too.
technology.
Yeah.
And right now we are perfectly laid out all over the world. Like, even people in third world countries have access to smartphones and stuff like that. And Amazon has a grocery store which you cannot go in without scanning your little without scanning your phone. They won't even let you in their grocery store. You know, I'm not saying it's all connected, but I just think it's kind of funny. Like everything is getting easily prepared. You know, instead of swiping your debit card, now you can just kind of scan it or tap it. What is it? Whole Foods, which is I think now is owned by Amazon, has a way to pay where you just scan your palm across it. Um, I don't know. I think it's
So,
slowly being set up there, but and I just imagine
I
like a
mean, when they
Chinese
came
social
out,
credit
when they,
system on a global scale with
Yeah,
this AI connected with everybody's mind is not too far down the road. I don't know.
I agree.
when
That was my
they
position too. Yeah,
when they came out with social security numbers or those types of numbers, people were basically saying the same things that you guys are basically saying today, especially when they came out with um, machines to record sound and stuff like that, right? There's all of these fears. Like, have you guys ever pondered why the Lord did not reveal those things, like when these things are going to take place?
I think Odin. I think that these are pre-marks, and they use them in a way um, to check our reactions to them, and see when the time is gonna be ready for them. But if you don't have an SSN in the US,
I like what you said right there. Sorry to go back on that subject, but I think that's exactly what this whole jab thing was all about. How they tried to make it mandatory to see what kind of resistance they would come across to do something on a larger scale.
So, so let me. So I'll go back. I'll make this like as brief as possible, right? The reason the Lord didn't, I mean, for one, it's none of our business, right? That much is clear, right? But the main reason is so that we don't get distracted by those things.
I
And
agree.
the perfect example to justify this particular idea is the parable of the master going away. Like he gave a couple of his servants some coins and say, "Hey, listen, go do some stuff with it," right?
Mhm.
Or like any parable where the master leaves, right? He's talking about where your focus should be when he's not around, how you should prepare for his return. You don't know when exactly he's going to return. He knows when he's going to return, but you don't know. But he's saying even though you don't know, you should be prepared. How do you prepare yourself?
I agree. I
Loving
agree.
your neighbor, loving your Lord. And when I say loving your neighbor and loving your Lord, I mean in a self sacrificial, actionable way. You do things to make yourself holy because being a Christian, receiving the Holy Spirit, and being reborn in that Holy Spirit, you are preparing your mind, body, and soul to exist in a perfect creation, to be in perfect communion with God. That is what you are supposed to be doing, not
I
worrying about
agree.
all this other stuff.
I agree. It's not that I disagree with what you're saying. I do think that a lot of the pre-trib, post-trib, all that is a bit distracting from what we should be doing, which is to go out there and make disciples. But I think it is in the same um, allegory that you mentioned. Isn't this the one with the talents that he gave every worker a talent, and
Yeah,
and they multiplied them, and one of them hid it in the ground?
yeah,
So I think that the putting ignoring some obvious facts that they show that it's way closer, you're getting in the danger that I don't need to rush it. it is way in the future, and that affects your zeal of preaching the gospel.
I don't
Because
think. Yeah,
because if you think you're closer, you're running instead of walking. If you think you're further away, you're like, yeah, okay, we got time. I'm just saying,
but
not you. I'm just saying the difference between the two, um,
but brother,
concepts.
that's not the only thing that I said, right? You don't need to. You some people are just not meant or not given certain gifts, right? Even if you do not have any gifts, if you are not called to do certain things, right, in terms of spreading the gospel and participating in the religion of Christianity, right? There is the thing that you have to do, which is to prepare yourself, right, as a bride to the groom. And the Lord explains in many ways how you do that. And
Correct.
all of that is grounded in love, actionable things, right? Yes, because I'm not
No,
going to
I
sit
agree.
here. Uh,
I agree. I
uh,
don't. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Just keeping that in mind, that I don't disagree with what
yeah,
you're saying. I do think the focus should be on the commandments that we have, what we need to do. It's not about, Jesus never said, if you don't understand when exactly it is, you're gonna have a problem. So you better figure it out. No, he never said that. So our
yeah,
job
because
is,
even if the Lord comes down and and reveals, reveals it to you, right now, I mean, what good is it going to do if you don't live in a loving way, if you don't love your
amen.
neighbor, if you don't love your Lord? None of that will matter.
Amen. And to twist this, to because it's the same for my position as well. I've said in previous videos, I have a channel that I've been making some weird videos about my becoming a Christian, and then some stuff about the Bible as I was discovering them, then some stuff on the end times. I'm not plugging my channel, but I've said back then that, let's say I knew who the Antichrist is, and let's say I told you. I'm saying to my viewer, right? Not you. Would that change your character? Would that change you and make you more empathetic about the person that is dying next to you? So we always need to remember that these things, yes, they have a spot. There is a position there to talk about them, but we gotta examine our hearts when it comes to our fellow brothers and sisters. That is what God commanded us to do. Right, Robin?
Yeah,
And in a sense, the reason it matters is because when we do discuss about it, there are people like Robin who might see that it is way closer, that they don't have all the time in the world because we have two ends. One is the end of the world, and the other one is our personal end. And maybe somebody that is listening who is an atheist might say, wait a minute, what they said here is actually a little frightening. I have a guy who talks about Neuralinks. Whenever I walk outside, I do see people shopping with their scanning their credit cards. There are shops that are opening that are scanning watches and palms. People are willingly putting the mark in. So there is only one book that warned me about that stuff, and they are in fact coming true. So I take this from myself as an example. I didn't wake up to the truth um, any other way. I woke up to the truth by observing how close this world is coming to what only one book prophesied. So yeah, there is power in that too. It is a way of preaching that this is the only book that warned us about that stuff. None else. No other religion speaks of a mark that you won't be able to buy and sell. And because you also mentioned that you are in technology, so am I. And theories of creation mentioned AI. and the stuff that have been mentioned, there has never been such a time in the past, and it has arrived so quick. So we can't argue that this is like the invention of the telephone, where everybody was like scared that people will stop. No, the invention of the engines, and people were scared that they will lose their job. There is this fear whenever something new arrives. No, that is not the case. The case is that we are becoming closer and closer to a system that once it decides that you need to have some specific requirement to be part of it, if you don't have that requirement, there is nothing for you out there. You can't buy, you can't sell, you can't work. And we see right now, I've put them together in one video that I'm trying to kind of edit. In the US, we have the real ID card. You can't travel without it anymore. The UK announced mandatory RFID cards that if you don't have them, you can't work. Mind you, he didn't say you can't buy or sell, so that's not it yet. But you won't be able to work without that card. And the same card has been given to every individual in Greece without their approval. Like, we received emails saying, this is your number. We received that email. And we now all have a microchip that is attached to ourselves.
Hey, sorry, I'm getting a phone call coming in. I'm going to go mute for a while.
Okay, brother.
I'll be right back, Achilles. Give me one second.
Robin,
I gotta make a quick phone call.
Yeah, go ahead. Robin, what's your take on all this?
I don't know. I was kind of zoned out there, Achilles. I heard you talking about me, but
Robin, did my sweet voice put you into La La Land?
no, I love talking to you, and I love talking to Achilles because I think both of y'all are good people. So I don't know Richard. I guess you said his name is Richard, but
yeah.
I'm sure he is too. But I appreciate all of you. But that y'all put up with me as an atheist, like on your shows. So
no, it's great to have you. And as you brought that example of that church, we are not that type as individuals. We are doing this for the atheists, and if they hate us, we will find a way to dissolve that hate. It's not you that does, but even those that do. This is why we're here. We're not here to talk Christian to Christian and debate. We're supposedly here to make disciples. So it's an honor to have you around and to bring your perspective. And you know that when it comes to politics and social issues, we're more in an agreement, me and you, than when it comes to,
and Odin is right there with us too, I think. Yeah. So.
And there was an Old Testament prophet, Micah, I think it was, whose whole thing, his whole prophesying against the Jewish people of the time is that they had lost their heart and they didn't care for the people around them. So I don't like it when Christians are saying that all that stuff is politics. The social issues are not politics. When people get robbed of their plate and they can't feed their children, but it's one party that decided to do it. I don't care what that party is, but people label that, politics, don't talk politics. It's not politics. We need to care for one another. It's a commandment.
I agree. I agree. And you know me, I talk politics all the time. So, but I was just trying to avoid the topic for y'all's sake,
Oh, yeah. And I'm the one that said, I was just trying to keep you guys from going back and forth about which father of the U.S. was Christian or not, because, This
Yeah,
can go. But I didn't know that about Jefferson, to be honest. I heard
that
it
is
from
what.
you.
Well, actually that is one of my favorite topics is the historical, like the foundation, of, like that's something that I'm pretty well versed in, like on like the founding fathers' religious views and their various writings of how they spoke. Like they did believe, like even like a lot of them were deists. They did believe in like a god, but not necessarily. But they believed that most of them believed that this is going to sound so condescending, but this is a way a lot of them believed. They believed that they were enlightened more than the average person, and that they could be moral people without religion, but that the masses of humans that would be the citizens of the United States actually could not be moral without religion. This is like something that many of them believe. John Adams, Benjamin Franklin. I mean, in their writings, even um, like they believe that they believe that moral men did not necessarily need religion because they could communicate with their God without religion.
Here's the thing. I get that, and thank you for sharing that and letting me know. But my issue with that is that yes, religion has been used by any founding father of any nation, right? They have been Religion has been used, but the reason we're doing this, being online and talking about Christianity, is because at some point in our lives we realized that it's not just religion; it is the truth. And the fact that it has been used by men doesn't change the fact that it is the truth. We discovered it. We had this transformation within us, which says that even if you're a moral person, you're not getting into heaven. You're getting into heaven not because of what you are, but because of what Jesus did for you. Because your morality and my morality could be different. My morality says to feed my children, I have the right to come in your house and steal your food. And your morality is that if I come in your house to steal your food, you're free to kill me. So moralities can clash. You might be a moral person, but in the eyes of God, that is not true morality. For example, in the eyes of God, if you were coming to steal from me, I just should raise my hands in the air and let you take what you need to take. I don't have the right to shoot you back, to shoot you. I don't have that right.
I probably would not shoot anybody for stealing food from me. No, no, definitely not. I mean, I would not be happy about somebody breaking in my home because I would give them food if they came and asked for it. But,
You see my point though about
yeah, we'll talk about objective morality on another show sometime.
oh yeah, if the wheel spins within.
You just starting. You're wanting to debate objective morality. So y'all are still debating Joe on Saturday.
Yeah, by the way, Odin, there is a debate. It's supposedly a 3-on-3 debate. That's how it started. I don't know what it's gonna end up being.
I don't.
I do think a 3-on-3 is an overload. Who's gonna talk first? It's gonna take like us all day.
I don't
It's
think
gonna.
Odine's here. I don't think
Oh,
so.
Odin, are you here? All right.
He's taking phone
So,
calls.
so yeah, I would love it if you could be the host because there's so many positive aspects of that. First off, you are objective.
I think Let's Farm will do a good job. I've kind of picked him personally.
Who is
Uh,
that? What's the
Let's
name?
Farm.
Let's
Let
Farm.
Yeah, his name's Let's Farm. LETTSPHARM. I just
Pharmaceutical.
like I'll be sitting with that elderly lady, and it confuses her when I have the computer on, and Like
Okay, yeah.
all the talking, and I'm talking, it confuses her, and she thinks I'm talking to her,
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
and it kind of takes me away from like the stuff that she needs,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for her.
Okay. But
And
you'll be
and
listening.
really 3-on-3 is just even if it's 3-on-1, it's just too much. And I will say another thing is I'm friends with you and Stephen. I became friends with you and Stephen, and I think a lot of Joseph too. And I kind of like it kind of makes me nervous around when the two channels clash with each other because um, I like there tends to be like some this I don't know, not the way that I behave towards y'all sometimes with that. So
Um, I don't know. I don't think there is gonna be any clash because TKA is very respectful. Now, if TKA tells me that the other person is gonna debate is gonna be Jill, I don't know if you know which Jill I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Jill from the taco show.
Jill from Taco Show.
JIL.
That's
Jill.
that's Jesus is Lord. Yeah, I know
Oh no
Jill.
no 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 no. No. Jesus is Lord is a different person. He goes by Jill, yes, but no, I mean the guy at taco show with the glasses.
Well, I don't know who. I don't watch tacos much anymore. So
Okay, but he has this high card that he does all the debating for him. So this guy just won't let you. He
oh
wants.
JL.
Oh, whatever.
You're talking about JL.
All right,
JL
whatever.
Warren.
There
Yeah,
isn't there. There wasn't there neither. Okay, I missed it. But the
yeah.
guy asks you a question after he's talking for an hour, and when you start answering your question, he interrupts you and continues talking for an hour. And I'm gonna tell you, my sister, right here, I don't have time for that. I mean, I'm gonna bail out if that happens. But TKA can be respectful, so there's gonna be no clashing. But I don't know who the other guys are.
I
So,
don't think it'd be JL, but I have actually muted J. I have actually paid money to mute JL before
wow.
when he was
I mean, you
when he
even
was talking to
paid.
a Christian. When he was talking to a Christian, I actually muted J. I
So
like
you
JL.
see.
Don't get me wrong, but he does like to dominate the conversation.
And I mean, why do you have the conversation? Like, go to your mirror. Go to your mirror and talk if
Yeah,
you love yourself that much.
yeah. He talks over people, and he like he has a specific argument, like, and he doesn't let other people respond. I agree with that.
And then he says, I won, right? I suppose. It reminds me of a boxing fight where the opponent will never face the other opponent. They just run around them all the time until they're dizzy and they fall to the ground because they got so dizzy and, you know, they win by default. So, okay, look, since Stephen left too, Richard left too, I am Batman left, or is busy. And because it's 4:45 here, I think it's a good time to give an end to this.
All right, I'm fine with that.
Uh, and by the way, I think we went through different subjects in the wheel. The
Yeah,
wheel, yeah, the wheel also had a subject about the end times and the Antichrist, and we did that too.
you need to
With
put beaver videos on there.
beaver videos, that would be funny. I'm gonna add frog videos, and I'm gonna invite Maud for her videos with those frogs. I just love those videos. I love
Yeah,
how the frog is turning to the other one, and it's like, what did you just do?
yeah,
You
yeah.
better not do that again.
Her proofs for evolutions videos are funny.
Um, I didn't catch. I heard the word evolution, but I didn't catch the
Oh,
title.
her proofs for evolution.
I
She has
heard
a lot
proof.
of proofs for evolution.
Raise them up, guys. Raise them up for evolution. It's our new guy. I mean, I'm with her. And I'm with her on other stuff too, but there are some things that I disagree with. Maud, are you still here? You are.
Yes, Maud's still here, and BBM's here too, and
Hey, baby.
ST. I don't know, like, yeah.
Yes, thanks for being around, Steve. I think you're having a good discussion there with the missing mod. I hope to see you on the panel as well. Yes, missing mod. I do disagree on some stuff with you. I think you were just saying in the chat that it would take a lot of money for them to actually have chemtrails. They pretty much have a lot of money. I mean, that's why we don't have Medicare. I'm just letting you know. So they do have the money. And contrails at some point they evaporate. They don't become clouds. I'm just saying. But
BBM pointed out that it's always 5 a.m. in Greece.
yep, not yet. It's 5 a.m. right now. I still got 12 minutes. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. God bless all of you, the theists and the atheists. And any last thoughts, dear Robin?
No, goodbye, everybody.
We'll see you next time when I find the ending video.